Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. I am on a road that I'm not used to. Well, I've been in this general area before, but I am on roads that I am not used to driving on. So if you guys hear, if I borg out or whatever, my apologies. Thank you for all the well wishes and everyone that's hoping Mr. Z is okay. That is why I'm recording. Mr. Z is okay. The Z is okay. Miss Z is okay. Family is okay. It just was a lot of wind. So far we haven't gotten too much rain. Apparently there's another one on the way. I told y'all one day we're gonna get in Florida or in the southeast. Better yet, we will be getting a hurricane in December eventually. Yeah, mark my words. Y'all heard it here first. Um, yeah, for all of you that keep on saying global warming is not a thing, all right, right, alrighty then. But yeah, so I'm just gonna have to run a couple of errands, so I just will be recording for now. Um, Okay, so this is important that I say. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. I didn't know that he does what Dr. Thunder does, and so he deletes. I guess he started to delete his videos. I guess he keeps the live stream up. He cuts it up and then he posts it and then he deletes it after a while. I did not know that he was doing that, so I'm just gonna have to go off of memory. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Um, so let me just say this: you're starting to hear women complain about their college degrees and their debt. Um, I wanted to use, I guess I'll have to use the whole live stream and then timestamp it. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams again. I'll have to use the whole live stream and then timestamp it, like I said, to kind of speak on this. No, this is not a full review on what Chief Rocker was speaking about. I guess I'm still putting that together. Shout out to Chief Rocker. We didn't do it yet. We didn't do it yet. Um, so let's talk about this kind of debt that we know that women are starting to really deal with because they're not partners. They're not partnering with men, marrying men, right? And so that financial load that they're taking it on by themselves. We already know women spend more than men. We already know women not only spend more than men, they're in more debt than men. And apparently, like I said, the Funk Brothers said differently. Shout out to the Funk Brothers. Been watching them on and off for over a decade. Um, so, and they said men are supposedly $100 more in debt. We already know that's men subsidizing women. Um, but single women, and they said single men are more debt than single women. So that's not married. I don't buy it, but okay, whatever. As I said, women are in more debt than men. I said it. I'll stand by it. We already know that women are doing horribly financially, and that's before we even factor in student loan debt. We know that women are enrolling in college at 60% compared to 60-40 split men to women, right? And we know that men are more likely to drop out than women are because why would we be in an environment that keep on telling us how horrible we are compared to our female counterparts? But of course, and telling us how horrible the patriarchy is when women want patriarchy. They just don't want to call it that. Once again, the provider protector part of patriarchy without the word patriarchy. Um, Continuing. Yeah, y'all are not producing wives. So a country that's not producing wives, that are producing partners, um, and then beating up on the men who don't want to marry your daughters that y'all raised to be insufferable, spoiled, entitled brats. Yeah. So why is Mr. Z coming to this? Lil Duval posted it. I guess I'll have to post it. He posted the clip that we've all seen a zillion times now because we're part of the Black Manosphere of the very attractive lady on that morning show um, who spoke of dating down, and the brother and the white man who checked her and the white woman for this comment. And it just sparked something in me, Z, about women holding out for the well-off man. I also saw a clip of, I guess, these Christians speaking. I guess I got to put that in the description box. So these two things are going in the description box. Shout out to the replay gang. Replay gang. Um, white Christians. Actually, there was I want to say she was a sister. At least she looks black-ish, kind of, sort of. Um, Speaking on marrying, and one of the white guys was, I guess he was repping for rights activists, and he was speaking about the 80-20 rule, et cetera, and women, essentially holding out. If they can't date up, they rather not date anything, and if they can't marry up, they rather not marry anything. And from what I've seen so far from that video, the rest of them really didn't grapple with what he's saying, right? Because it's something that's not flattering for women to say that women essentially are saying, yo, it's either I marry up or nothing, and I'd rather struggle by myself than marry someone who will help me, but who I feel isn't me marrying up, right? And our society, including in the Christian world, apparently, really struggle with that. They're really struggling with the idea that when women would literally mean it when they say, I can do better by myself. Our society, including apparently the Christian folk, are struggling with women saying, yeah, I would rather be with myself, be by myself, diddle myself, love on myself, be miserable by myself, than be with someone who I feel like I settle for, even if that person is helping me with my life, loves me, loves on me, etc., etc. And for Z, I say, fine, but be prepared for everything that includes, everything that entails. And that includes the debt. That includes the antidepressant pills. That includes a world where 50-something-year-olds are still single with no children. That includes that. Huh? That includes the government trying to subsidize these women by taxing the men more. The women that never married those men, that would alleviate the government and the money that it's going to have to dole out to these women, because we know women take more from the system. That's not up for conjecture. Huh? That's not up for conjecture. Yeah, that's the world we're in. Yeah, you better believe it. And so here we are covering women in debt. Oh, by the way, before we even pause, Chief Rocker, you're gonna have to send me that link. Chief Rocker, if you're still in here, I think I saw your name. I'm on the express right now, so I can't really read. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. All super chats will be read when I get to the like. But yeah, Chief Rocker, you're gonna have to send me that link, because I looked it up and I couldn't find it. So if anyone knows the link that Chief Rocker was speaking about last stream, the woman that's $280,000 in student loan debt. I looked it up. I can't find it because apparently Mr. Z is slow. Yeah. So I want to make sure that I cover exactly what Chief Rocker paid his good-earned money for. So y'all send that link for me, please. If you want to put it in the comments here right now, you can. If you want to put it in the comments after the stream, if you want to email it to me, either way. And Buckeye fan, we didn't forget about you. And somebody called Mr. Z out. Somebody said, Buckeye fan been waiting on this stream for like 4 months. My apologies. I did not realize it was that long. So Buckeye fan, somebody shamed me for you. And so we will be getting to your TLC stream soon enough. Who else sent me something? Was it Grab Second Gear? Someone else sent me something. I did see it for last stream. I saw it in the comments. Was it? It wasn't Grab Second Gear. Who was it? Oh, the name is right there. Z, don't forget the name. God damn. Yeah, so I did see it. There should be a review coming to that for that also. Shout out to y'all for sending me emails, putting the appropriate links for videos in the live comments and in the regular comments. So I am seeing what you guys are sending, and yeah, that part. So like I said, shout out to Chief Rocker or whoever knows what the link of Chief Rocker was speaking about. the lady that's supposed to be $280,000 in student loan debt. Y'all send me that, please and thank you. So I can review it. Shout out to Chief Rocco once again. If he's not listening in, hopefully he listens to the replay and he sends it to me either via email. He can put it in the comments, and I will be reviewing it shortly. Yeah. So continuing. So as I said, all of these people, remember, shout out to all my Xers and all my millennials and even you Gen Z that are old enough to remember this. They've been telling us how much black women, white women, Latina women, Asian women don't need modern men. Remember? I want to be very clear. You remember they kept on, shout out to you, Leisha Miller. Now that these women no longer need these men, now that these women can sustain themselves, right? Shout out to you, Kim Foster. Now that these women are single cat ladies, right? Y'all kept on telling us that these single cat ladies can afford to be single cat ladies. Y'all forgot? Huh? What happened? See, that 80-20 rule doesn't just apply to dating. Huh? I said it when I kept on. Shout out to the Raj Report. He probably still remembers. Shout out to A.L. Evans and all of you that remember when Z first popped up, especially when I first popped up on the Raj Report's channel years ago. I kept on speaking about dream quarters. I kept on speaking about the professional managerial class. I kept on speaking about the top 20%. It's not just money. I spoke about the petite bourgeoisie, particularly the women, particularly black women. And the only thing they align with working class and middle class and lower middle class and working poor and women, black women in particular, is on their XX chromosome. And so they wax poetic about, oh, we're all women and we're all against the patriarchy and we all should be against the patriarchy and we're all feminist and we all should be feminist. And there's a special place in hell for women who speak against other women. You forgot about that? And now what? Now we're finding it's the Kim Fosters that end up getting married. It's the Leisha Millers that end up getting married. And while all the rest of you who don't get married, I'm speaking to the women, particularly the black women right now, all the rest of you who don't get married, and for you, it's mainly about the money and class and status. That's not what Leisha Miller tell y'all. She tell y'all, no. It's not about that. It's about the fact that these men aren't likable, right? Isn't that what it really is? These men haven't developed a real personality. Isn't that the real issue? Right? Uh-oh. So shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Shout out to Chief Rocker. No, we know what the real issue is. It's the money. Shout out to whoever that white dude was, speaking to all them Christians. Yeah, it's the money. The women said, I want 6 foot tall. I want 6-inch or better member. I want 6-pack. Right? I want 6 figures. And anything short of that, I don't want it. And here's Leisha Miller and Kim Foster saying, no, it's the character flaw in the men. No, it's the money and the status in the men. Huh? This entire society has raised insufferable, entitled, mean, condescending, rude, spoiled brats, sociopaths, I said it, that get to hide behind their degree. Hide behind their degree. Apologies if I'm boring out. And so Leisha Miller and Kim Foster get to say, no, these women don't want to marry these men because these men aren't likable and they're not going to college, so they're not being indoctrinated with these partnership ideas, partnership patriarchy, where he still provides and protects and spends a whole lot of money, but he asserts none of the power that comes from, spending a whole lot of money. Huh? This partnership patriarchy, patriarchy by feminist specification. Shout out to BGS for continuing. Z, you're getting tongue-tied. Shout out to BGS for continuously, there we go, shouting out Mr. Z every time he brings it up, right? Yes, patriarchy by feminist specifications. And I got to review um, Roger Report's stream from a couple of days ago. He kind of remixed it, right? Shout out to Roger Report. I think he called it manhood by gynocratic specifications or something like that. Exactly. We could call it whatever we want to, however we want to phrase it. It all comes down to the same thing. It all comes down to the same thing. It's the women that want pick and choose parts of patriarchy. FD signifier know that's what it is. He just don't know what to say about it. He don't know what to do with that. Same thing. All of these people know that's what the women are talking about. What? Oh crap! I'm in the wrong lane. I get back in this lane. Y'all give Z a second. Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Right? What Kim Foster said? She called it feminists in the streets and pick me in the sheets or something like that. That's what it all is about now. And by the way, Mr. Z is not just ranting to rant. I know I'm ranting right now. I'm tying all of this to what I'm saying. The women are in debt. They're struggling. Even the college educated women, us particularly the college educated women, they're in debt. They're struggling. They $45,000 a year is not cutting it. Their $38,000 a year is not cutting it. Their $52,000 a year is not cutting it. But they said they would rather do bad all by themselves. That's what Little Duval was. That's why he posted it. And if you read through the comments, women all copping, please. It's a handful of them that said, "Oh yeah, these women, these are the ones that be single forever." It's a handful of women. Now they're giving you hypotheticals. What about if she's okay with making more? She said she's not. That when she was sitting down, listen to what she said when she was sitting down. You know, we go to school, we get our degrees, we do this, we do that. What's wrong if we want to date and date on our same level or above? Date on our same level or above. Why are you bringing up this hypothetical that she did not bring up? Oh, so you can skew the conversation to better fit your argument. Once again, what Mr. Z is saying, our society refuses to grapple with the women that y'all raised, dear America, dear the West, that y'all raised to be insufferable, a-hole, condescending, spoiled brats, temper tantrum throwing, petulant brats, petulant children, hiding behind their degrees and their quote-unquote accomplishments, their middle management ass positions. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Huh? They're $55,000 a year. A whole lot of women hiding behind their degrees in their $55,000 a year jobs. Their $38,000 a year jobs. Okay, we're dealing with a quote unquote rich auntie. Her $72,000 a year job. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a career now. Huh? Now what? And these women are in debt up to their eyeballs, up to their foreheads. Huh? The women said, I would rather be single than quote unquote settle for a man who's better than me. Because he's not exactly what I want. Hey, Mr. Z, I'm not about pressuring these women to get married. What the system will try to do, y'all heard it here. Shout out to Black Uru. We said this forever ago on Kev's channel. Shout out to Kev from Black Men Being Brutally Honest. I think who was there? It was Roguish. Men to subsidize the women ever married these men and had children with these men because these women thought they were better than us. Huh? Somebody tells Z he lied. I think I'm Borgin right now because I'm trying to highlight this. There we go. There go Creed's coming. Okay. I knew I was Borgin because it wouldn't highlight. But yeah. That Mr. Z is saying it now. I'm calling it now. We already know the US knows how to weaponize its economy. As black people, you definitely know this. If you come from if your parents or grandparents or great grandparents come, shout out to me and all his fellow Haitians. If you come from a country where the US weaponized, shout out to Chile, where the US weaponized its economy, rest in hell, Henry Kissinger. If the US weaponized its economy against your native country or your parents, grandparents' native country, you already know they know how to do it. So Mr. Z is not just being a conspiracy theorist right now. It's not just tinfoil hat, do-rag, and kufi right now. They do know how to tax the men to subsidize these a-hole women. They know how to do it. And I argue that's going to be the plan. That's going to be the plan. Huh? So as I said, yes, I'm sticking my finger in their eye. Yes, I am. Yes, Mr. Z is doing that. Yes. F you, FD for this whole tone policing. Absolutely not. Yes, Mr. Z is mocking them. Yes, and what happened? I thought you said these women could do it without the men. Isn't that what y'all said? What happened? I thought y'all said the women could do it without the men. I thought y'all said the women no longer need the men. Isn't that what y'all said? Mr. Z is old enough and young enough to remember this. What happened? Isn't that what y'all said? Y'all said the women were kicking ass and taking names. Isn't that what y'all said? The women were more educated than us. They made more than us. They don't need us. Isn't that what y'all said? What happened? I guess not. Huh? And I'm not just saying that to mock the women. I'm definitely mocking the system and the people that put the women in this position. All you feminists, what happened? Oh, I forgot. Many of you feminists turned around and didn't get married. Huh? What happened? Y'all recall the women were supposed to be more educated than us and more classy than us and right, easier going than us, right? Earn more. The women were just supposed to be out and out better than the men. Y'all remember? What happened? I guess not. Now they're in debt to their eyeballs. They're crying all in their cars. And Kim Foster thinks that's a good thing. Why? Because the Democrats win? Okay, so let's get this right. Women are supposed to vote more and more conservative, liberal. So the women are supposed to vote more and more liberal. The young men are going to vote more and more conservative. Because there's more women than men, and there's an increase in single cat ladies. Because there's an increase in single cat ladies, the women are going to outvote the men and then vote for higher taxes to make up for the men they never married and the children they never had. Vincent, what's the topic for today? Mr. Z just ranting. And showing y'all Mr. Z is okay. Nothing happened to Z or the car or Miss Z or any family members or whatnot, right? And that's to Demetrius who says hurricane news. Mr. Z is okay. It was a lot of wind, a lot of wind. A little bit some rain. There was definitely some rain, but a lot of wind. And Mr. Z is okay. I'm okay, right? And I guess I'll read this now. And Kareen says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Kareen says, hope you're doing well and your family. This hurricane, no joke. And apparently, we're supposed to be getting another one. Right? Apparently, we're supposed to be getting another one. There's another one brewing, apparently. Right? But I'm saying that to say, you know, it would be a different conversation if we didn't have these kind of, and shout out to LAR. I'm still gonna do a stream about that. But the problem with that stream is it might get too much in the way of Chief Rocker in that stream. So I might name the stream I want to do for Chief Rocker Arrogant Beggars. Right? It might be a longer title than that, but that might be the initial title, right? Um Arrogant Beggars. Right? So Leon, that's hysterical. It threw me off. And Leon says, Z chilling on the blow up mattress. Absolutely not. I'd rather sleep on the couch than the blow up mattress. I can't do the blow up mattress. Right. But yeah, so that's where we are now. And the rant is coming from, shout out to Lil Duval. I'm gonna link it in the description box. I'm gonna link what I was speaking about earlier with the Christians speaking about dating and whatnot. And the white dude who was a men's right activist, and he was pretty much checking the panel, right? He was checking them, rightfully so, right? He was checking them as he should, you know. Mr. Z is out here running errands while y'all on the while streaming. My apologies, my apologies. Moving stuff around. You already know how that go. Um, yeah, so that's why I would argue we're in this now. Now, oh, that's what I was trying to say. It would be a different conversation if women were waking up and saying, you know what? I can't do this. I was taught wrong. But their hubris, shout out to Nema and Toyo for that. Their hubris, their arrogance, their pride, their ego is keeping them on this. And that wouldn't be a problem if it was just sequestered off for those type of women. No, the issue is the system thinks that men are supposed to pay. Now, don't get it twisted. The system's going to subsidize these women. With what money, though? Uh-oh. With what money? Huh? And this is why the conservatives are the way they are. And we'll pause right here. Y'all speak amongst yourselves. Gives you 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. And thank you for this, Ben. I did not know that. Okay. And Ben says, CJA only deletes the live streams on YouTube, but they are available on his Rumble. The short videos are still available on YouTube. I don't know. There's only a handful of them, though. If there is there another channel, or am I missing something? Maybe I'm missing something that you're saying, right? Huh. And Leon says, "What's up with this guy, Lil Bill?" I mean, you remember what FD said? Am I missing something? Did Lil Bill post something else that I missed? Right? Because we already know they're trying to weaponize the Diddy situation against black men writ large. They're using Diddy as an avatar for influential and powerful black men. Y'all already know how that go. Let me know how that works for y'all. Right? Did Lil Bill say something that I missed? But like I said, y'all already know what FD said. He said he worked around us, right? He made us obsolete with it's him and Foreign Man in a Foreign Land and Lil Bill and a couple of other brothers that don't show their face. I can't remember. It's one of the brothers says the background is yellow and it's like a brother with like dreads or like the little dreads. Um, um, and that's in black. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Somebody here knows who I'm talking about. And it's a couple of other brothers, and FD kind of bigs up these people, but it don't matter because, like Mr. Z has said, and this ties right back to the topic at hand today. If y'all can't get young black men and black men writ large, to be frank, to pay and subsidize these women, everything else y'all doing is a waste of time. It feels good, right? The women get to clap it up for y'all. Y'all get to be, this is the example. Shout out to Olay, who said she sends these to her man, and shout out to all the black women who told FD they send this to their man. That's good. Those women already have men. But all the other men, black men particularly, who watch UFD, they watch Foreign Man, they watch Lil Bill, they watch all these other brothers, right? Thank you, Ambassador. Yeah, Andrewism. That's what I was speaking about, I think, right? Right? If y'all are putting out these think pieces and y'all are quote unquote going in on young men and the turn of young men voting more conservative, or y'all going in on men's concept of masculinity, y'all never say nothing to the women though, or y'all minimize it. Shout out to all you women who do the same thing. Kim Foster, the Teen Wars, the Nappy Headed Hobas, etc., the Julesies, etc. I saw the clip with Julesy and Jesse Wu. I saw it where Julesy said she pretty much wanted to have a kid and she wasn't gonna wait to meet her quote unquote partner. She might not have used the word partner, but that's the way Mr. Z registered it. At least she said it. Shout out to the black women who actually say it. Hey, I want to have a kid and I ain't gonna wait. I ain't gonna do the whole wait and do the whole nuclear family thing. Shout out to Julesy. Julesy said it. Now we can start having a real conversation. Oh, these men get these women pregnant, and then they run, or they don't want to be in the relationship with the women anymore. Shout out to the women who. Shout out to Ebony K. Williams. Shout out to Julesy. They actually say it now, right? Oh boy. But continuing, okay. If I said this before, whether it's Themis, whether it's Kim Foster, whether it's Real Talk with Yanni, whether it's Chrissy, it doesn't matter. Whether it's Julesy or Nappy Headed Jojoba or Teen War, whether it's Cat Black, whether it's FD, whether it's Foreign Man in a Foreign Land, whether it's Professor Odie or Conscious Lee, it doesn't matter. Whoever it is over there on the left. Whether it's Leisha Miller trying to give her 2 cents about the black community and black women's quote unquote plights. None of that matters if you cannot get black men to pay and subsidize black women. All of these think pieces y'all putting out mean nothing. Tying that to the topic, we're seeing women writ large, black women specifically, crying in their cars, complaining about their struggle, complaining about the financial struggle. That doesn't mean if they had men, they wouldn't be struggling still, but there would be a bit relieved, right? That the struggle wouldn't be sitting on their shoulders by themselves. They wouldn't be lifting that by themselves. Someone would be able to alleviate that a little bit, a lot of bit, right? And Ghost-O-Matic says, Z, in chat, did you hear Professor Odie was at the Black Manosphere Conclave? So I heard. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Right? What's going on, Compassionate? So apparently, the women are having a really difficult time seeing what doesn't come with male leadership. And it's driving them up the wall because they really thought they could get the money from us without the leadership. They really thought they could get the money. And when we say protect, it's not just the literal physical act of protecting a woman. It is protecting her mental. It is protecting her emotional. It is protecting her financially, from herself. They really thought they could get the protection and the provision without the leadership. Y'all really thought that? Oh, you really thought the system could have bludgeoned us to death to do for you without sex, and without the relationship, and without the children, and without being leaders. Y'all really thought that? To all you millennial women, y'all thought that? Black millennial women, you thought that? How is that working for you exactly? Wait a minute. You thought you could get Biden and Clinton and Bush and Trump? Huh? You thought you could get all of these people in Obama? Wait a minute. In Bush Sr., in Reagan? You thought you could get them to make us do for you without being with you? Huh? Wait a minute. What? And then what y'all been trying for the past couple decades, shout out to all the women that keep on saying, these men want wife benefits without being married. And the women don't? Wait, the women haven't been trying to shame random men, boyfriends, to do for them on the level of husband without being married? That's not what the women have been doing for the past few decades, huh? You know what a man's supposed to do? What these men need to do? Are you talking about your husband, ma'am? No. At least Gen Z and young millennial women are just coming straight up the middle and saying, if you want to link me, hit my Cash App. The young women are just coming straight up the middle and saying it. That's for the ones that are not engaging in foodie calls, and they're still engaging in foodie calls. Huh? The women are saying it now. Now what? The rant that y'all are hearing right now is being encouraged by, like I said, the Lil Duval clip that he posted. I will be posting it in the comments. Excuse me, in the description box. But we already seen it a million times. It's the clip of the sister on the news channel. Well, not well. It was news channel. The where they would, it was the black woman, the white woman, the black man, the white man. It was the dating down clip for all of you that need to know. And it's also uh, uh, a video I saw of a Christian group speaking about marrying and dating and the dating scene, and and a white dude who I guess represented men's rights activists or whatever, and he kept on stressing the 80-20 rule, and you watch them kind of try to dance around it. They addressed it just a teeny bit, but nobody really want to address this part. The women said, we will crash society if we don't get elite men. The white dude kept on stressing, these women are saying, if I can have elite, or if I can't have the top 20%, I would rather be single. And that's okay if it's 1% of your female population that think like that. 2-3% of your female population that think like that. What happens when it's 5 or 10 or 15 or 50? Uh-oh. what percent of women are supposed to be single and childless by 2030? Uh-oh. And yet you want the men, young men in particular, when we say young men, we're really saying under the age of 50, under the age of 45. You want young men to do for these women that we went to school with, that we work with, that gave us their ass to kiss. We're supposed to still provide and protect and look out for her and whatever children she has from a man that's not us. And Lion says, doesn't mean they'll be attractive. Lion, I'm not even going to how these women are going to look at 48 years old compared to how they looked at 28 years old. I'm not even going there. I'm not even going there. Shout out to Toya. Very few women can do or did what Toya did. Very few of them. We're not even talking about that. We're not even talking about the weight that they're going to gain over the next 25 years from 25 to 50. We're not even going there yet. I'm not even going to the physical. I'm talking about how much more jaded they're going to be in 20 years from 25 to 45. I'm speaking about the emotional state they're going to be in, all the horrible habits they would have picked up and made even worse in 20 years, in 25 years. We're supposed to be looking out for these women after they spent a lifetime doing the wrong thing, going the wrong way. We're supposed to be looking out for them when they finally get their mind right. They still didn't get their mind right. At 43 years old, that's what we're supposed to be. Oh, okay, now she's ready to settle for me. Shout out to Jason Black. He was 100% correct on that. All the brothers, all these men, now you 43 and 44, and now your phone is ringing off the hook. You think those women want you now? No, she's tired of working now. She's tired of the struggle now. She's been rode hard and left wet too many times now. All you are is the safety net now. Thank you, St. Cyr. Wait, where's that coming? It moved. Wait a minute. And St. Cyr says, no more bailouts and handouts. Exactly. Huh? This is where we are now. And apparently that's for the secular world and the Christian world. They all dealing with the same thing, but nobody want to address this very simple fact. The women need the men. We're not saying some men, quote unquote, may not need women. The women clearly need the men, but y'all raised them to be so insufferable. They said, I would rather starve in the middle of the streets than end up with men that are better than me or doing better than me, but that I feel like I'm settling for. Well, will you look at that? The women need the men, but the women said, if I feel like I'm settling, I would rather starve. And y'all don't know what to do with that except try to shame the men. You imagine begging a woman to do for her? What? Huh? Alexa, play T.I. You can have whatever you like, please. We don't look like begging a woman to do for her. What I look like a woman who told me, I don't care if I'm married to you, I'm never getting with your program. I don't care if we're dating, I'm never getting on your program. I'm never getting on your program. I'm going to make your life a living hell because I feel like I settled for you. I'm going to be a mean girlfriend and a mean wife because I feel like I settled for you, like I could have did better than you. Even if you're looking out, even if you're subsidizing me. And I'm supposed to be begging her and always trying to prove myself to her? Y'all. What? You imagine? That's who Steve Harvey said. It's a man's job to look out for a wife and kids. That's who we're supposed to do it for, Steve Harvey? Huh? Dr. Umar Johnson, that's who we're supposed to do it for? FD signifier, which your weirdo concepts of what the Black Panthers were, huh? I'm supposed to do for a woman who gave me her ass to kiss and who's coming with 2 and 3 kids from a different dude? Absolutely not. Fine, she's not coming to the table with 2 or 3 kids from a different dude. She was dating, but she don't have any children or any of that type of baggage. I'm supposed to do for a woman who's 46, 47, 48, who has all of these hangups, who's jaded as hell, who's mean as hell, and still thinks she's settling for me? Yeah, that's it. Excuse me. Let's bring it down. Fine, she's not 48, she's 38. Same thing. Fine, she's not 38, she's 32. Shout out to Real Talk with Yanni. She's 31. Shout out to Real Talk with Yanni and all of her subscribers. Huh? Now what? Huh? So this is the technocrats' plan. So the plan is to have Richard Reeves try to get his words together, stumble about a little bit, to have Dr. Scott Galloway try to get his words together, once again, stumble around a little bit, right? The Chris Williamsons, huh? Well, this is just the way it is right now. Nobody say anything to the women because we can't tell them anything about their mating strategy. We can't say nothing to the women. We're only going to shame and discipline the men. Huh? That's the only, we only have words in the language to talk about sexism. Y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. My apologies, y'all. And no, this is not a reckless stream, right? But as I said, we only have the language to speak to men about their investment in the patriarchy. We have no, because y'all know women are never gonna. I said it to FD and he told me no. And you could tell that they really believed it. They really believed this because of whoever that was, whatever his name was, the dude with the dreads that was in that conversation. What is the name of that channel? Where they have the different sides and you come and sit down when you disagree or you agree. Whoever it was with the glasses and the dreads, who said, yeah, the women are more willing to let go of their femininity than the men are of their masculinity. And I'm looking at him like, what drugs are you? Mr. Z, you cut your own self off. Let me finish that. What drugs are you on? Number one. Number two, once again, when I responded to FD, when he was so adamant that we're in our bubbles. He was so adamant that we're in our bubbles. Right? And what I'm saying is, no, y'all are in y'all bubbles. That's what Anne Marie Slaughter was saying when she said Brooklyn gives the lie to this. That's what she was saying. Y'all are in your bubbles. The little 10, 15% of women, maybe 20, who are okay with out earning their husbands. They're okay with a different type of relationship dynamic. They're okay with that. They don't see their husband, their boyfriend any less than. In the masses of women that say different, the majority of women, y'all are so headstrong on this 15 or so percent of women who are different. that y'all completely ignored that the masses of women said, yeah, if I can't have this lifestyle, I want nothing. There's real consequences to that. This is what Mr. Z has been stressing on his channel for years. There are real economic consequences, social consequences, political consequences for your daughters, dear America, for your daughter saying, I want that lifestyle up there or nothing. Huh? Here, let me read this from Compassionate. And Compassionate says, COVID F their whole plan up. They weren't supposed to need to run this play until Z's were 30 plus. That way the social engineering would have been deep enough to convince the men to subsidize hoes for life. Exactly. I'm gonna leave that up for a little bit. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. This is 100% correct, Compassionate. I agree with this 100. I think this was the play. I think COVID sped up women's debt and men's debt, but it sped up how much the women would need the men. And they didn't get the programming all the way in. They didn't get their clutches in the young men all the way. And you know what COVID also did? Let me add to what you're saying. It gave Kevin Samuels a space because we were all sitting home, and when Kevin put that microphone up and that camera on and let woman after woman after woman after woman after woman arrogantly beg, once again, shout out to LAR, arrogantly beg the men to subsidize them, but to shut up. Now they kept on, remember, they kept on couching it as, I just want a man on my level. Ma'am, you're asking for a man that earns way more than you do. Well, that's what a man is supposed to do. Ah, so patriarchy, you mean? Uh-oh. You could call it equally yoked. You could call it assortative mating all you want. Shout out to Lil Duval. That's why I'm speaking about that clip, that news clip. So what COVID did was, yes, it messed up their plans, but it also threw a monkey wrench in their plans with Kevin, with particularly the black manosphere. You could say the entire manosphere spaces, or this men's, men and podcast bros, or whatever, however you want to phrase it, but particularly the black manosphere, because we were having conversations with women, and we were showing women say it in their own voice. Particularly extra women. These are the women that boomers said were going to be better than us. Dear all you black female boomers, extra women and millennial women, not so much Gen Z, but some Gen Z, they were of age around the time. They were in their early 20s, 20, 21, 22, when Kevin was alive. Right? So you saw the oldest of Gen Z around 20, 22, 23 years old, all the way to the Xers that, remember, the boomers told us we're not gonna need us and we're gonna give us hell, and they did, but now they're suffering for it. Huh? So what you saw were Xers, millennials, and the oldest of Gen Z calling into Kevin, being on Daily Wrap-Up Crew, being on Crew Season, all of these different podcasts, giving men their ass to kiss while also telling men, oh yeah, I'm gonna need you to be a financial provider at the highest level. The only reason these women say six figures is because they can't count. They're saying six figures. We're assuming 100,000. These women really mean 350,000. They really mean 500,000. They really mean millionaires, liquid millionaires. They can't count. That's why we're assuming they're saying six figures. Sometimes they'll say 100,000 because they can't count. The lifestyle you're looking for is way more than $100,000. That man need to earn way more than $100,000 a year for the lifestyle these women are describing. Right? So shout out to Compassionate. Exactly. COVID threw a monkey wrench in these technocrats' plan. And the worst thing that ever happened to them is the second these young men started seeing, oh, that's what they're on. The old heads aren't lying. See, their goal, and this is what FD think he's doing, he's not doing it. was to run in front of us. I said this years ago, actually, on channel. Y'all gives you a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. The women in my life, yo. It's the women in my life. I'm telling you, it's the women in my life, right? Um, Shout out to you, babe. I know you listening. Continuing. The goal is so. Yeah, I was speaking about FD, and FD let the I guess he let Mr. Z. You're Haitian. You shouldn't be saying it this way. He let the cat out of the bag with this, right? Um, Dr. Richard Reeves let the cat out of the bag. What did FD say? He told Themis, we worked around them and we made them obsolete. Particularly speaking about the Black Manosphere, for those of you that don't understand. FD told Themis that he worked, yes, Themis and Thaw, yes, the LGBTQ brother, FD told them that, told Themis that him and the foreign mans and the conscious Lees and the little Bills, they worked around the Black Manosphere and they made us obsolete. Once again, that's number one. Number two, Richard Reeves, Dr. Richard Reeves, said to men that it's a man's job or it's manly to overproduce because he sees that these men are kind of becoming recluse and they're closing in on themselves, and it's a man's job, and he doesn't think it's manly to do that. It's a man's job to overproduce. This is his remix version of Steve Harvey saying it's a man's job to take care of women and kids. No. Themis let the cat out of the bag himself by saying, well, y'all need to raise these boys to protect women. No. Now, once again, this is not good for society. I want to be very clear. You cannot maintain a society with the way this is going right now. I want to be very clear. Mr. Z understands that. What you will also not have, unless y'all want to see a rise in DV, is women who feel like they settle for the men that they're with. They're angry at the world because they feel like they settle for the man that they're with. They're giving their own boyfriends and husbands their ass to kiss. You can't maintain a society like that. You can't maintain a society with a bunch of single women that tell men, if you want to link me, hit my Cash App. Huh? Once again, these rules apply for the men that these women feel like they're settling for because Mr. Chisel Chin, 6'2", 6'3", doesn't have those requirements on him. Here's the funniest thing in the world. Mr. 6'2", Chisel Chin, that earns good money, he's the one that doesn't even have to spend the money. Well, when you look at that, right? And continuing, y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Compassionate says, if it wasn't for COVID and that meddling Kevin Samuels, Scooby-Doo, if it wasn't for you kids, right? And once again, Compassionate says, if it wasn't for COVID and that meddling Kevin Samuels, they could have just stalled Gen X and millennials out until we were powerless and dead, and Gen Z and Alphas would have been ripe for the picking. True. I agree. I agree. But what ended up happening is that Gen Z, younger millennials, Gen Z, and Alphas are going to have it in posterity. That's the word I'm looking for. They're going to have it on record for forever. All of the women who called into Kevin, who were on Daily Wrap-Up Crew, who were on Cruise Season, who were on For the White Guys, whatever podcast, etc., etc. It's so now they get to see Mr. Z is not just some angry uncle, right? That's the problem. They could have just made Kevin Samuels just the old angry ornery guy with 2 divorces under his belt. They could have just made Mr. Z the angry uncle. They could have just made BGS the smart faceless guy on the internet who's mad at failed relationships. They could have made Even For You Married Brothers, the Black Urus and the Art New Styles, just the angry old men who are just, yeah, they found some loser women who marry them, who have an inferiority complex, and so they're using their wives' inferiority complex to keep her married to them, or they're just buying off their wives. That's how they just would have. Same thing with Angry Man. I mean, Angry Man's name is literally Angry Man. They just would have made all of us just the angry old guys. The problem is the women started talking. Oh boy. See, it's easy to make us the angry old ornery guys until you have conservative women and liberal and progressive women and light-skinned women and dark-skinned women and white women and Latinas and Asian women and educated women and uneducated women and women that earn good money themselves and women that don't earn any money really. All of these women calling into Kevin and calling or being on the whatever podcast or being on Daily Wrap Up Crew or Crew Season, etc., etc. All of these podcasts showing their face and boiling men down to nothing but walking wallets and overglorified guard dogs, and then telling these men, oh yeah, what you're getting in return for that is my mere presence. See, it would have been easy for them to just call Kevin Samuels that old angry guy if Kevin was just monologuing by himself, like Z does often. It would have been easy to do that. As a matter of fact, that's what Leisha Miller and them are trying to do now. That's what Kim Foster and them are trying to do now. Huh? They're just calling us weirdo. They keep on talking about Kevin like Kevin was talking to himself. Even now they're trying to talk about Kevin. Kevin's been dead for over 2 years. Hundreds, if not thousands, of conversations with women of varying backgrounds, of varying classes, varying income levels, varying ages, varying educational attainment. And they're still trying to talk about Kevin like Kevin was speaking to himself or he was just speaking to men. Huh? The women exposed themselves. The women were the ones calling into Kevin Samuels. It would have been different if you saw maybe for the first couple months women called into Kevin until the word got out. Oh, yeah, he's a sexist, misogynistic, misogynorous pig, and he says we're built like football players and linebackers, and he calling this white woman what he called her lumberjack built. Shout out to Kevin. Rest in peace, Kevin. Huh? It would have been one thing if the word would have got out and women stopped calling into Kevin after 2 or 3 months. No, they kept on calling in because they were using it as a time to advertise themselves. They were using it as a time to condescend down to men, using Kevin as a proxy. They were using it to look for millionaire men. Once again, these women can't count. That's why they say in 100,000. That's why they say in 6 figures. In the Chrissies, in the Real Talk with Yannies, and the Lexus Exodus, and the Mahogany Pinks, and the Julesies, and the Kim Fosters. All of them didn't know what to do. FD let the cat out of the bag. Z, you're going to keep on saying that? You Haitian, stop it. I'm going to keep on saying it. Kevin let the cat, oh, excuse me, not Kevin. FD let the cat out of the bag when he said, when Kevin passed, he looked at that as an opportunity to fill in that vacuum. That vacuum that was left with Kevin's passing, FD saw that as a time. But once again, to FD and to all of those men over there, I will continue to say, if you can't get it's not good enough to get these men to shut up. It's not good enough to get these men to stop being so antagonistic. If you can't get these men to pay for these women and to subsidize them, you're wasting your time. To hell with your concept of Black Panther, where these men are going to do what? Oh, yeah, subsidize mean, insufferable, condescending, rude women and not get the vagina from them on top of that? Yeah, that's it. from Africa, Sid. From Africa, Sid. From Africa, I came, Sid. Let the curry cat out the pot. Hysterical, right? And Joe said Kevin had the setup and the timing. COVID kicked the door down and women flooded in. Exactly. Exactly. Oh boy. Huh? So now what? Everything Mr. Z is saying is tying in. I'm not going off way off. All this still tie in to the women in debt, the women financially struggling, and y'all looking at the men like, oh, y'all not gonna do something about this? No. Dear America, y'all raise these women like this. The black women, the white women, the Latina women, even the white peen chasing ass Asian women, all the women are chasing after white peen. Because y'all all think white men equal money and status. Huh? Shout out to you, Kidology. Shout out to you, Amanda Marianne. Shout out to you, Madison Brown. Huh? So now the women and the system and these little weirdos are all trying to shame the men to do for the women that gave the men their ass to kiss for the past, I don't know, 50 years. Okay, Z, you went too far. 60 years. Oh, Z, okay, okay, okay. All right, all right. For the past 25, 30 years. Huh? For us millennials and for Xers, these women been giving us their ass to kiss for 20 some odd years, for 30 years, and we're supposed to turn around and do for them. Huh? We're supposed to turn around and not only do for them with our head down. What? You're supposed to look up for this woman and maybe her one or two kids with your head down. Because talk of leadership, that's patriarchal and that's sexist and misogynistic, and in the black community, misogynorist. Why can't you just do for her and then y'all just be partners? I mean, she's doing for you too with her mere presence. So you work yourself to death for her and for kids that may or may not be yours, and she does for you with her mere presence. Seems like an equal exchange. Huh? Huh? The women are in debt and they're struggling. We're not saying the men are. I keep on saying it. If there's a gender war between black men and black women, black men lose the gender war. Or they lose. Black men lose a gender war. Black women just lose it harder. So if there's a gender war between men and women writ large in America and in the West, but okay, America, men lose that gender war. Oh, and I'm saying the masses of men, elite men are going to be straight. All elite men are going to be super straight. They looking down from the ivory towers like, oh, it looks like us weaponizing the women against the men is hurting both the women and the men. Well, let me take my millions and billions, walk out the back door. Continuing. If there is a gender war between men and women in America writ large, all the men lose that. Oh, the working class man, the lower middle class man, the middle class man, even some of the upper middle class men, oh, they lose horrible. We ain't even gonna talk about the working poor and just poor. Oh, they're losing all over the place. The men are gonna lose. Oh, they're gonna lose. Oh, it's gonna be horrible. Pandemonium. And the women are going to lose harder. Exhibit A. And the women are going to lose harder. You better believe them. Men lose a gender war. First of all, it's just two sexes. Z, you're using gender and sex interchangeably. I know. There's only two sexes. So if the women hurt, the men hurt. And if the men hurt, the women hurt. Ah, but y'all been trying to find a way to keep the women from feeling this pain. And clearly it didn't work. Huh? So as I said, oh yeah, the men lose a gender war. If there's a gender war between men and women, oh, you better believe the men lose. Oh yeah, they lose. Casualties all over the place. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, it's horrible. Everybody feeling this pain. All the men gonna feel this. Except for the elite men. The FDs of the world are gonna pretend like they don't know what's going on. Or they're just gonna keep on over indexing on criticizing the men. Which would be okay-ish. No, it's not. If the women were criticizing the women, oh, but they're not. So yeah, the men lose that. Oh, the men lose that horribly. And the women lose harder. It's that simple. Huh? It's that simple. Right? And so I want to keep on stressing that. The women are struggling, they're in debt. And let me bring this up just in case for those of you that didn't hear it earlier, because Mr. Z was poking fun earlier and I got to continue. We were told, for us Xers, millennials, some of you Gen Z old enough, y'all might remember this. We were told, it was suggested to us, it was implied to us, it was inferred to us that the women did not need men. Once again, women do not need men. And so men had to now be likable. They're saying it now, but it was already implied before. It was already suggested before. Now that women no longer need men, men had to be likable now. Men had to develop a personality. All of that really means the men had to bow down and kiss women's ass now. Now that women no longer needed men financially, women had the power to make men bow down now and kiss their ass. Huh? It was implied, it was suggested, it was outright said. The women no longer, now that women no longer need men, women can afford to make men do for them without women doing for men. Women's contribution to the delicate dance between heterosexual men and heterosexual women was a woman's mere presence. You as a man had to qualify yourself for her mere presence. You had to still fulfill all of the patriarchal roles while now being quote unquote likable now. What does likable mean in this respect? Being conciliatory, doing household chores that weren't traditionally men's chores. Defer to her, defer to her, defer to her. Being quote unquote emotionally intelligent. What that really means is emote like a woman, but not really emote like a woman. Not the parts that they don't want. God, this sounds complicated as hell because it is. Your disposition had to be close enough to hers that she appreciated it, but not close enough where you were essentially a mirror image of a woman just with a penis. That's what emotionally intelligent really means. Huh? That's what we were told. That's what was implied to us. That's what was suggested to us. Huh? L's active. There's a lot to be said about it. L's active says they want you to bend over and prostrate, and they want you to bend over so they can check your prostate. Goddamn, Z. I said it. Huh? This is what was suggested to men, young men in particular, that women no longer needed men for any type of financial gain. When she said she wants someone equal to her financially, that's what she really meant. When she said equally yoked, that's what she really meant. When she said assortative mating, that's what she really meant. And then here came high-speed internet. Oh boy. And social media. Yikes. And women started being way more honest than the technocrats would have liked. Uh-oh. Women started saying hypergamy. Oh. Women started telling us what they really meant by equal. What she really meant was above financially. Wait a minute, Z, that don't sound like equal. That sounds like hypergamy. Exactly. Huh? The women started saying, who wants to be with average anyway? That's what the women started saying. Whoopsie. The women, shout out to Lil Duval for posting the clip that we've all been sharing for years now. The women started saying, you know, we go to school, we get our education, we do this, we do that, we do this. And we're just looking for men that are at or above, ooh, said I again, Z, at or above our level. Sounds like hypergamy to me. That's what the women started saying. See, high-speed internet, social media, and COVID put a monkey wrench in all of what these technocrats were trying to do. Exactly what Compassionate said. The women started talking and saying this, only confirming what the men had suspected in the first place. And now we got the FDs of the world telling the men, don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe your lying ears. Kevin was just an angry ass old ornery man. Huh? Z is just some faceless nobody with insecurities from elementary school. If y'all don't get it, that's what FD was trying to imply when he was on my channel and when he spoke to Professor Odie about me without saying my name. Huh? Don't listen to these podcast bros. Huh? Yeah. Shout out to whoever that is. Somebody get this goddamn man's name, please. Mr. Z, you're going to have to watch it again and get it yourself. The dude with the glasses and the dreads that was on that conversation. Shout out to Better You. He's the one who sent it to me. Whatever channel that is where they have the opposing view, argue it out and debate it out. And if you agree with something, they'll have you sit down first and then they'll bring the opposing side and y'all debate it out. But the dude with the glasses and the dreads who said the women are more likely to let go of femininity than the men are of masculinity. What drugs are you on? Once again, y'all are in your bubbles. The women are not. You think women want to let go of dressing in nice, tight pencil skirts with heels for men's attention? Listen, I told y'all around these weirdo feminist women who keep on the male gaze. The women love the power of men turning their head around to watch women. Let me say it again. The women love the power of getting men to get their head to turn. The women love that. They love the sound of their heels clicking and clacking and men looking to see, is she fine? Is she fine? I can hear the sound. Let me see if she's fine. Huh? You think women want to give up the male gaze? No, they don't want actually, Z was going to be wrong about that because I wanted to say they don't want the men they don't find attractive to not look. No, they want those men to look too. Huh? What drugs is this dude on? As I said, these weirdo dudes are in weirdo feminist circles, and y'all swear those women represent the masses of women. The women are more likely to let go of femininity, of their concept of femininity, than the men are of masculinity. What drugs are you on? The women are the ones complaining. Wait, the men aren't approaching anymore, and the men aren't showing up at speed dating events, and the men aren't showing up at matchmaking events. And what happened? Why aren't the men approaching us at clubs? What killed the club scene? The women killed the club scene. Huh? When he said that, I knew. You know when you know. Oh, wow. Okay, I expect you to have off out there takes. I expect you as a male feminist to have way out there takes. I expect that. Jay Moore says, you talking about the light skinned FD? Yeah, that dude. The dude with the glasses and the short dreads, that was part of that conversation. I can't remember what channel that channel is called, right? And thank you for the super chat, Jay Moore. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Right? Dude said women are more likely to let go of their femininity or something like that. I might be paraphrasing a little bit than the men are of their masculinity. And that's what I knew. He was way off the reservation. Any inkling I had otherwise, he proved. Oh no, oh wow, you're really off the reservation. You really think women want to give up looking sexy for the male gaze? Why? Because you're around a handful of feminists that say, oh, the male gaze, and I'm tired of these men Googling and oogling at me. I'm tired of them staring at me, even when they don't say anything. I'm tired of them walking up to me and talking to me. Which, by the way, if you don't get it, is them humble bragging half the time. Boy, these what scares me is that these guys are the guys that end up being working for your local mayor and your local congress member and your state senator. It's guys like that. Guys like that end up working for your senator and your congress members, your lower house. It's guys like that that's in the background. Right, Indigo? Male gaze, air quotes. Y'all keep on hearing these weirdo women, the male gaze. These men think that I dress like this for them. I don't like the way they look at me. They look at me like I'm a piece of meat when I walk by. And then there's the other women that love that power. Oh, they love it. And they envy other women who get it and they don't. If you don't believe me, go ask Stefco. Oh, goddamn. Too bad her pretty privileged video is no longer on the internet because she said it. It was her birthday. She walked into a bar, ain't nobody had turned. None of the men's had turned. And then her light-skinned homegirl walked in and all the men's had turned, and she felt that. The male gaze and the fact that she didn't get it. But these weirdos like this wannabe FD, shout out to him, he actually called FD's name out. He actually shouted out FD. Think that these weirdo women that they're around that say, oh, the male gaze, it's so uncomfortable. They think those handful of women that talk like that, first of all, really mean it. Secondly, represent the masses of women. These radical feminists, these lesbian feminists, these straight up just feminists. Huh? You know what happened when women don't get the male gaze? They start complaining in their cars that these men are not approaching anymore. What happened to the good men? What happened to the men that would approach you? Okay, fine, but the men aren't even. The men, and they start subtly jabbing and subtly implying and suggesting LGBTQ behavior from the men. These men are in the clubs and they're not even approaching. Are they gay? It seems kind of gay. These men aren't approaching. They just would rather be with their friends. I thought y'all said the women didn't want to have the male gaze. What happened? Mr. Z, you being real petty on this stream, aren't I? And you told us your daughters could afford to not have men. Isn't that what y'all told us? You told us your daughters didn't need us financially. Isn't that what y'all told us? You told us your daughters didn't want us to be staring and oogling and googling at them anymore. Isn't that what y'all told us? What happened? Dear America, that's what you said. You keep on bragging about how much more educated the women are than the men. Huh? How the women are mature and the men are not? You little petulant children. Your 37-year-old daughter is a 12-year-old when it comes to boys and men. When it comes to men, excuse me. Huh? But you told us that the women are much more mature than the men. Isn't that what you said? The women are more educated. They're more responsible. They're doing better financially. Right? They're more mature. They're more educated. They're doing better financially. Huh? They have more of a social justice spirit. Isn't that what y'all said? What happened? The women don't need the men. The women are just looking for a companion. Huh? They're looking for partners. Isn't that what y'all said? What happened? They're looking for men who are equally yoked, men who have similar interests, similarly situated men. They're looking to practice assertive mating. Isn't that what y'all said? Isn't that what all the boomer white men told us? Isn't that what they said? Isn't that what all the boomer black men outside of the black Urus and BGSs, isn't that what they told us? Isn't that what all the women told us? White women, Latina women, black women, Asian women. Isn't that what they told us? All the extra women, all the boomer women. Isn't that what they told us? And then your daughters got access to camera phones. Oh boy. And started recording themselves in their cars and in their kitchens and in their living rooms, crying, begging, arrogantly begging. Huh? These men are no longer approaching. I went to the club and no man said anything to me. I just walked to work for a mile and no man said anything to me. You mean catcalling? Didn't you tell us y'all didn't want us catcalling anymore? The men watched me struggle to put groceries in my trunk and no one helped me. This man saw me walking behind him and he let the door slam in my face. Huh? What happened? The men struggle. They watched me struggle to put my luggage in the top shelf on the airplane and they didn't help. What happened? Huh? What happened? I thought you said your little princess didn't need, not even wanted men around. What happened? Huh? What happened? That's why I'm not just talking to be talking. When I said patriarchy by feminist specifications, I meant that. When I say partnership patriarchy, I mean that. That is what they're looking for. Even Dr. Richard Reeves said, there's certain things about how we used to do things that I think is still needed, that is still nice to have. No. If y'all want a new feminist world order, then you better eat all of it. Ain't no more one foot in patriarchy and one foot in feminism. Nope. Tell those women to go eat vagina. Tell them to go do their whole Golden Girls thing. Huh? Tell them to do the whole love is love, B. Taylor thing. Huh? Tell them to go buzz themselves to death with their rose toy. Shout out to Real Talk with Yanni. Tell them to go swirl with white dudes who's never gonna marry them. Shout out to Chrissy. And let me take that back. Chrissy might get one of these lame ass non-black men to wife her eventually. One day. Maybe. Huh? Shout out to you African brothers. Yes, I'm about to have to throw Nigeria under the bus. Tell these women to go find them one of these lame ass, square ass Nigerian dudes to marry her, even though she's an insufferable, mean, condescending, a-hole, hyper capitalist on the level of Jeff Bezos ass black woman. Goddamn, Z, all that smoke for Paris Milan's husband? Oops. Huh? Tell them to go look for that real liberal or progressive white man who's okay with being a feminist under patriarchal, excuse me, saying that the wrong way. Tell these women to go find them the progressive ass white man who's okay with being a patriarch under feminist specifications. Shout out to Amanda Marianne. Shout out to Madison Brown. Shout out to Kidology. Tell them to go find that white dude. The diamond in the rough, the super rare white dude that's pretending like he's as progressive as she thinks he is. Huh? Everything Mr. Z said here today, yes, it was a rant inspired by Lil Duval, right? It's to emphasize the real ass consequences for America and the West raising women not to be wives. It's that simple. Raising women not to be wives. There are real consequences to that. And you're seeing them now, and you're trying to get the young men to make up for it. And the young men said, "Nah, I'm pretty comfortable single now." Nope. Huh? We'll catch your daughters on the back end, and there's a pun in there, and I mean it. We'll catch your daughters on the back end for some of us that don't care about age so much. When your daughter's desperate enough at 42, we'll slide her that $500 to smash. Oops. Huh? Y'all better get them laws together because your daughters are going to be handed over that pussy. Z, goddamn, I almost got the word out. I almost got the word out, y'all. Almost. Yeah, she going to be handed over the vagina for the 500. Y'all better get y'all laws together. Huh? Yeah, she going to be handed out the vagina for the 500. You better believe it. Yeah, she going to be handed out the vagina for the 250. Yeah, she going to be handed out the vagina for the $40. Shout out to Corey Holcomb. Huh? Your tight, right, cute 43-year-olds, 50-year-olds. I don't know how tight she's going to be at 50. Your 38-year-olds, oh, you better believe it. Right? Lines at $40. Yeah, Corey Holcomb say it all the time. Well, he used to say it. Right? I don't know how much he says it anymore, but yeah, he used to say it. Hysterical. Right? Thank you, Jay Moore. The channel is called Jubilee. So for all of you that want to know what Mr. Z was referring to, thank you, Jay Moore. The channel is called Jubilee, right? And Jubilee had a conversation with men and women speaking about, what was it, men's right activists versus feminists, I want to say. And the one of the dudes that claimed to be a men's right activist, lighter skin, dread, glasses, like medium build, kind of sliding a little bit to the heftier side, but medium build. Um, and he shouted out FD at one point, but he said something in the conversation that women are more likely to let go of their femininity than the men are of their concept of masculinity. And I thought it was the funniest thing in the world, because I want to know which women is he talking about? What women is he talking about? I keep on saying this over and over again. What drugs are y'all on? Which women are y'all around that make y'all believe that women are likely to let go of their concepts of what it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman? They're not letting go. These women don't want to be out here wearing flap jackets. They don't want to be out here doing blue collar work, digging ditches and whatnot, using backpack blowers, no pun intended, mowing grass, trimming hedges, pressure cleaning. Those women are not doing that because of their concepts of masculinity and femininity. And you're not going to get them to do it either. Huh? It was crazy listening to him say that. I'm like, what drugs? But the Mr. Z is y'all don't understand what Mr. Z is saying. I don't want to change no laws. Oh no, let the women eat this. I'm about socially. Men saying, all right, fine then. That's what y'all want. Y'all can have all of it. Oh no, I don't want to pass any laws to make women go into the kitchen. Nope. Mr. Z is not about passing no laws to make them barefoot and pregnant. Absolutely none. Nope. Just eat the lowering birth rate, the lowering marriage rate, and what it means for women. Have fun trying to socialize the men. Don't believe your lying eyes. Do for the women that you're not having sex with, that won't have your children, and that gave you their middle finger up until she's a 45 and she can't do it no more. Huh? Now this one, yes, Chief Rocket. Now that I do want to revise. That is an exception to what Mr. Z said. And Chief Rocket says, revise that selective services policy as well. That, yes, absolutely. And Leon, I didn't forget what you were telling us. And Leon says, no laws. Yeah, we ain't touching the laws. I didn't forget what you were saying that night. We did the stream. All of those women that got to deal with the TRANS, and how the TRANS women are infringing in their concepts of womanhood. Oh yeah, y'all wanted the laws open. There you go. And in a different world, in your ideal world, see, you don't really understand what you're advocating for. In your ideal world, because you say gender fluidity, that means some of these dudes are going to be out here with the TRANS. Uh-oh. That means that you, oh, Z, you about to say it, I'm about to say it, you're going to have to be out here with some of the bisexual brothers. Uh-oh. Huh? Thank you, Compassionate. Compassionate says, plot twist, it's women's concepts of masculinity that's antiquated, not men. Right? We got to stress that because the women still want the provider protector part of patriarchy. FD knows this. I want y'all to understand. FD knows this. He knows this for a fact. FD knows this for a fact. Professor Odie knows this for a fact. Consciously and Foreign are playing games, but they know. Themis knows this for a fact. They know. Kim Foster knows this for a fact. Teen Noir and Nappy at Hoba knows this for a fact. Everybody's playing games. They're hoping that they can get us to subsidize the women without the power. No. Right? Compassionate says equal rights amendment. Please say that. Right? And once again, Jay Moore, thank you for the super chat. The channel name is Jubilee. Right? So as I continue to say, I'm going to keep on stressing this. It means nothing if FD and Foreign Man and Conscious Lee and Professor Odie and Lil Bill and Andrewism and there's a couple of other brothers that don't show their face that's kind of along that same line. Progressive dudes. It's one dude, he uses kind of anime stuff, and it's not Andrewism, it's another one. He has somewhat of an accent, so he sounds like he's from the Caribbean somewhat. Y'all know, all my lefties know who I'm talking about. His channel is pretty new, and it blew the hell up. His channel blew up faster than a mug, right? I've watched some of his stuff too. Great takes, but once again, once it comes down to men and women stuff, y'all be sounding retarded because y'all are not honest about the women. So as I said, if y'all cannot get men to subsidize women, everything y'all doing is a waste. Everything y'all are doing is a waste. We're not doing it just to be nice. I said it. We're not doing it because of your weird concepts of community. Community look like what? Men not getting no vagina? Men not passing down a lineage? Just to do it? That's what community is? Well, you get her presence. Isn't that good enough? What? We're not doing it for your weird. We are not doing this whole community thing just because. So let me get this right. 20% of y'all gonna get all the vagina. About a third of y'all gonna have children. Maybe 40%, maybe. But a good third of y'all are gonna have children. And everybody else is supposed to do what? Just be part of community to be part of community. I really want to drop a heavy ass F-bomb. Just be part of community just to be part of community. Shout out to Real Talk with Yanni. What's the incentive? What's the incentive? I'm telling y'all, if y'all are real leftists, y'all know this is not how it works. Y'all know this is not how it works. Right? Y'all know this is not how it works. Thank you, Joes. Els Active said, I say it for you. Right? And Joe says, just be part of community equals playing house. Right? Y'all know, dear leftists, y'all know better than this. Dear black leftists, y'all definitely know better than this. Now y'all just hoping against all hope. That's what it is. You're hoping against all hope. How can we get the men to play house? The men that didn't really get no vagina, don't have any children, didn't get married because of the women, or got married and got divorced once again because of the women. How do we get them to be part of community? How do we get him to see the woman struggling to put stuff in her trunk and to help her? How do we get him to hold the door open? How do we get him to let a woman blow off steam and take her anger off on him and not deck her in the face. Mr. Z is not advocating for violence on his channel. How do we get these men to play community when the community gives him their ass to kiss? How do we get that? Y'all know better. FD, you know better. You particularly know better. Professor Odie knows better. Huh? Y'all know better. And your daughters, it's really our contemporaries, your sisters, they're starting to crack. And this is where Mr. Z was getting to. The women are starting to crack. Thank you, Mr. Seed, and for free on top of that. Right? The women are starting to crack. For younger Xers and millennials and the oldest of Gen Z, the women, they're starting to crack. See, that inflation they put a foot so far up everybody's ass. Huh? See, COVID hurt them. Then for them that struggled to find a job after COVID, they struggled to get their footing back. Then inflation came back and started stomping them out. And then the men started saying, no, I got to get my stuff together financially. Isn't that what y'all said, women? Y'all said, no, the men got to get themselves, the men got to step up and get themselves together financially. The men said, I am, but not for you. Uh-oh. And when you combine all these things, plus some things Mr. Z isn't listing, the women are cracking now. What happened? See, Kim Foster think it's a good thing. These single cat ladies. The women are cracking. Now what? Huh? The women are cracking. Now what? Homegirl that was on that show. What's the name of the show? The homegirl that was a little bit heavier. She made fun of the dude's height, and then when they mentioned her weight, she broke down. She had a cute face. She was all right looking in the face. She could afford to lose a few pounds. Here's the kicker. A lot of black men would take her the way she is now. Oh, goddamn, Z. Which means you're insufferable. We could see that by the fact that you said something about the brother's weight. I mean, excuse me, his height. And then when they said something about your weight, you cracked and started crying. Talk about a lack of self-awareness. The women are cracking. That's what all the crying in their car videos about. That's what all these men aren't showing up to mixers is about. That's what all of these men aren't showing up to speed dating is about. That's what that's about. Huh? Oh hell no! That we got a review coming. And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat, Electrician 480. I did not forget about you. I did not forget about you. Let me read this one now. And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat. You hear about Brickface Lady had an interview and Death Wish on MTR? Oh, you know what? Y'all gives you 1 second. Let's make sure we put that in. Let's look that up right now. We looking at. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want to make sure I do not. Wait a minute. No, I don't see anything yet. Okay, no, I didn't see it yet. I don't see anything yet. Right? Not yet. Unless I'm missing something, right? Huh. You hear about Brickface Lady had an interview and a death wish on MTR, but of course. But of course. Let me maybe I looked it up wrong. Give me a second. Young give Z 1 second. Just trying to make sure. Okay. I think I found it. I think I found what you're talking about. I think so. We'll see. We will see. Yeah, I'm not surprised. But of course, but we already knew that's what she was on. That voodoo, fake voodoo thing, right? We already knew that's what she was on. All right, I think I found it. Yeah, look out. I might be reviewing that in a little bit. Leon says she mad at MTR. Joe said, you can't speed date in this economy. You'd be out of money. Exactly. Well, the women are struggling financially, but they're trying to swaggy beg and, as LAR said, arrogantly beg. Right? Huh. I guess that's the theme of today's stream. And going to what Mr. Shook to you said, give me a second. Going to where's that comment from Mr. Shook to you? Where did it go? Goddamn, Mr. Shook to you, you said that, and now I'm looking for the damn comment, and the comments is moving. Wait a minute. Y'all give me 1 second so I can read that comment from Mr. Shook to you. Oh, there we go. And Mr. Shook to you says, "Who pissed Z off so much? He hitting us with random untitled streams with no links or nothing." Look, it was something I saw from and once again, Detroit, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. It's something that I saw from I just said his name, Lil Duval, on his Instagram. And I'm gonna link it, but we already saw it. It's the news clip of the pretty ass sister who was talking about dating down, right? When they were covering economically unattractive men are leading to a downturn in marriage. And so Lil Duval posted it, and I think I just got triggered. Mr. Z has no problem admitting when he got triggered. I got triggered reading some of the comments from the women, copping pleas in the comments, right? Trying to kind of reframe the argument and adding different stipulations to the argument, and adding hypotheticals to the argument instead of addressing the argument that Lil Duval was trying to present here by posting this. The women having an issue, quote unquote, dating down, and it just triggered me, and it also added to me being triggered because I had just watched a conversation between Christians speaking about the dating scene and whatnot, and they had this white dude who's, I guess, acted as a men's rights advocate, and watching the Christiany folks kind of dance around what he was presenting about the 80-20 rule. So that, coupled with Lil Duval posting the news clip on his Instagram, and reading through the comments and watching the women cop pleas and kind of them trying their hardest to reframe the argument. And yeah, it was just triggering, and this is what you can thank the stream for, or this stream for, right? Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Z is quite triggered right now, and as I said, the women are cracking, and I'm going to continue to stress that the women are cracking, right? And y'all give Z 1 second because I want to click this that Detroit put. Okay, all right, I got it, Detroit. Thank you. Right? Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Z is triggered, you know, because of course I am. I'm just going through, and there you go. Yeah, and you said 4313. Okay, thank you, Detroit. Thank you. All right. An electrician 480 says, and thank you for the super chat. Boom! I just told my work partner this last night that women in our society are raised to be individuals, not wives. Say that. Which okay, if that's the world we live in, we already know this comes with this type of brand of capitalism, this neoliberal capitalism, which individuals spend more money, particularly individual women. We already know individual women spend more money than married women. We already know they're in more debt than married women. We already know they make less than married women. All of it, this is which is insane, right? All of this being, putting in the gumbo pot. We know this. So this comes with where we are, this kind of individual hyper individuality and this, like y'all know Mr. Z likes to say, this negative liberty. Cool. The issue is the women can't literally financially afford it. The masses of women, particularly the black women, can't afford it. Right? They can't afford it. This is where Mr. Z comes in and say, and this is why they're attempting to shame men, particularly black men in our case, to pay for these women. Because the women cannot afford it. They can't afford their lifestyle. It's that simple. The masses of women, namely black women, cannot afford their lifestyle. And because the Kim Fosters can, the Kim Fosters speak as if the masses of women can, namely black women. Because Leisha Miller can, because Leisha Miller said even before YouTube, she was working for a firm, she was earning six figures. And because Leisha Miller can do that and is there financially, even before YouTube, she's speaking like that's where the masses of white women and black women and Latina women are. The masses of black women and Latina women, once again, single black women and single Latina women, earn the least in America. Single childless black and Latina women have the least, sorry, I said it wrong, not earned, have the least amount of wealth in America, right? Thank you, Joe. Joe says, not pay Z, overproduce. We're supposed to overproduce. So to you, electrician 480, I'll say, adding on to what you said to your coworker, it's not only that America doesn't produce wives. America not only doesn't produce wives, it's trying to find a way for men to do for these women that weren't raised to be wives. Well, y'all weren't raised to be husbands. How would you know if you weren't raised to be a wife? How would you know if you weren't raised to be a wife? How would you know if you're not married? Ooh, how would you know if you said you're not getting married unless it's to the top 20%? How would you know? How would you know what being a husband entails if you're not a wife? Huh? How would you know? We have a lot of Xers, especially younger Xers, just about all millennials in Gen Z who said they're not doing what their mothers and grandmothers and their great grandmothers did. They're not doing it. I'm worried about my career and my schooling and my education. Nothing wrong with that. But you're not a wife. That's why y'all keep on using partner. Y'all are not wives. Y'all are not raised to be wives. Well, take what that means then. Don't get married. Don't have that husband and struggle. Whoopsie. It's that simple. Z, you don't sound like a leftist. I am a leftist because I don't believe in making laws to make you do anything. What I'm saying is be prepared for the men. If y'all are leftists, y'all got to be leftists all the way, which means you don't get to make laws to make men subsidize the women that gave them the middle finger. You don't get to create laws to make the men do this. If you're a leftist, you got to be a leftist all the way. in community means that the men want to participate in community. You got to incentivize them to want to participate in the community. You have to incentivize them to want to be communal. Huh? If y'all are leftists, y'all gotta be leftists all the way. Not women get to be these neoliberal, capitalist, hyper-individualistic, negative liberty practicing petulant brats, entitled petulant brats. But the men have to be communal because the men are the ones who have to prove to the women that they're not a threat. F you. If y'all real leftists, then y'all gotta be leftists all the way. Huh? If y'all are leftists, y'all gotta be leftists all the way. That entails creating a system where you put men in the position to be husband material, where you put women in the position to be wife material. And if they're single and they don't want to play that game, that's perfectly okay. But what you don't get to do is then tax the men, both married and single, to make up for the wayward women that gave the system and the men the middle finger. Right? Absolutely not. And that's what it seems like y'all want. Troll says, no halfway crooks. Shout out to Mob Deep. Right? Huh? The men are saying, what's the incentive for real? Where's that comment? Goddamn. Was it you, Saint Cyr, that said it? Goddamn. Oh, there we go. Yeah, yeah. Saint Cyr says, what that chick say? Shout out to Real Talk with Yanni. What's the incentive, millennial and Gen Z men? Huh? And that's all it is. And Electrician 480 says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Electrician 480 says, Z, you mean to tell me a man like me who makes 44 an hour, goddamn Electrician 480, 44 an hour with unlimited overtime. You make 44 with unlimited overtime. Hey, Electrician 480, I need your job schedule and I need your address for research purposes. I'm not trying to get shot, so I need to know when you're not home. And Electrician 480 says, Z, you mean to tell me a man like me who earns 44 an hour with unlimited overtime, I guess I'm inferior to black women. That's what they say. That's what they say, Electrician 480. Right? And Electrician 480, you're blue collar on top of that? You don't want to get your blue collarness all over these women's hands? Right? Mr. Shook to you says, Electrician, I'm in the same boat as you. We are dusties. Y'all are dusty. Y'all are blue collar. Forget the money. The money is good money, but forget the money. Y'all are blue collar making that money. You're going to get y'all blue collarness all over these women like Kim Foster's hands. Right? Man. Right? Now, Electrician 480, you're supposed to, and let's be honest, most sisters are not like that. I'm not even going to do that. I'm not going to do that to black women. I ain't going to throw them under the bus like that. That's a Kim Foster and her ilk that think they're above above blue collar black men in particular, because they think we don't take education seriously, and we don't appreciate class, and we don't understand the difference between the F-150 and the 3 Series Beamer, right? Or at least in this case, the Tesla Model 3, which looks, shout out to all of you with Teslas. I get it. Particularly the 3 and the Y. These are the most bland, boring looking vehicles ever. They're really not. But I get it. I get it. But yeah, y'all don't respect class and the appearance and aesthetic of things, and why you shouldn't get the F-150 over the Tesla Model 3, right? Man. So yeah. And Saint Cyr says, "Oh, Z, you got to send it to me. Z, I have a tweet that's in line of what you're talking about now. A snobby elitist PhD student. She doesn't even have the degree yet, and she's talking out the side of her neck, bro. Y'all heard me say it before. I said this to Rael years ago, which is classism in the black community being the gateway drug into anti-blackness." Right? So classism being the gateway drug into anti-blackness, and also respectability politics being the gateway drug into anti-blackness. Understand, class was going to develop naturally. That's a function of human beings and where we rank depending on how much money we earn or our wealth position, the neighborhood you live in, the schools you attend, et cetera, et cetera. That was going to happen anyway. That's not what I'm saying, right? Also, respectability. If y'all met Z in real life, you'll be like, "Oh crap, this is a pretty respectable brother." Between the way I dress, y'all hear the way Mr. Z speaks, just the way I carry myself, the way my mom, my lady's mom, rest in peace to her dad, y'all already could see the way Z is. So I'm not even necessarily against being a respectable person, but respectability politics and class, the way it's, because we live in America, the way it's weaponized against the masses. Well, from what I can gather from what you're just saying now, yeah, right. Okay, let me click that now. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. All right, give me a second. Let's see if it'll let me read it. Wait a minute. Oh, there we go. All right, give me a second. Let me read this real quick. Hopefully, I'm trying to make sure it doesn't borg on or end on me. Judging by the responses, I can tell most people wouldn't do great in a doctoral program because context is whooping people. I'm in the top program that's kind of ranked number one. It's okay to try to cook me, but ask yourself, are you better than me? What is she responding to though? I said in class today, to be black is to be owned. Let me see. Let me see. What is she responding to? I said in class today, quote, to be black is to be owned, to be African is to be free. And the class gave a resounding just to clarify, just for clarity, I'm talking about the label of blackness created by whites for the colonial structure, not Africans against black American. It's to say black people around the world are better off calling ourselves African. Oh, yawn. So a lot of Hotep brothers and pro-black brothers do this, right? So, right? So, yeah, okay. I get the argument. Right? Let me say this. No matter how you frame this is Africans or people who do not want to be honest, those of us who are descendants of slaves, generally speaking. So I'm not only speaking about ADOS or FBA here. I'm speaking as a person who also is a descendant of slaves, although not ADOS or FBA as being Haitian. So the people that buy into this, no matter how you frame it, you are positioning yourself as being better. Because either, number one, you didn't go through slavery. There's an argument to be made about colonialization and what it did to the minds of Africans. Or you do not buy into calling yourself the descendant of slaves, even though you know you are. This is where the brothers that keep on saying, "Where's the slave ships?" And we were here first, and we were okay, whatever. Um, so you're couching this as if you're better because number one, you do not buy into the slave narrative. Number one, or number two, you weren't descendant of slave. Once again, I said there is a a, a conversation to be had about colonialization. Number one, your ancestors selling my ancestors. There's a conversation to be had there, and which I had to do and be while being under the thumb of white colonizers that stayed on the continent. And then even when they left, um, what Britain and America could get Nigerian leaders to do now. I mean, like now. Um, and I'm not even going to mention the Francophone countries. Oh my God, right? Number one. But number two, well, because you don't see the world the way I do, I'm just going to say it's because you're not educated on the same level as me. And that's why. See, you haven't read the requisite books and you don't think the way I do, so you're just dumb. Now, it's a very sophisticated way, a very upper echelon way, ivory tower, an educated and pompous way of checking you or whoever she said this to, but she's still saying the same thing, right? Yeah, yeah. This is really, it's interesting where we are. And so Art New Style said something a while ago, and I'm beginning to entertain what he said more and more. The difference between the difference between Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks, and then excuse me, and then Jason Black, Tariq Nasheed in particular, and the Black Authority. So Tone Talks and Yvette made the conversation about reparations very heady, right? No pun intended. Very heady, very academic. Yes, they said some things that were kind of out of line, maybe, but they were mainly coming at this from an academic space and what is owed and delineating themselves from just being black or just being some type of African descendant, right? Where Tariq in particular took it in a different direction, and he was way more comical, way more about culture, way more about, and he was a bit antagonistic, but him doing that allowed for all of the "we better than y'all" ass people to come out. And though those people were already speaking a bit when Tone Talks and Yvette had control of the conversation, they couldn't really go where they needed to go with their antagonism because once again, Tone Talks and Yvette made it more academic of a conversation. When Tariq came out and was making fun and talking about people's hairlines and talking about people's wardrobe and talking about people's accents and their food and whatever, those people then really showed themselves for who they were. The "we better than y'all" type of people, right? And so it's good to know. Mr. Z already knew this. Y'all already know Mr. Z is Haitian descent, and that's why I kept on telling y'all these people are really jealous. They keep on pretending. What jealous of what? Y'all jealous, and let me say this as a Haitian, so let me say it. Y'all jealous because y'all did all that work and y'all still not the face of black. Ooh, goddamn, Z. It's that simple. You could say whatever you want to say. Yeah, Afrobeat been doing its thing for the past 5, 6, 7 years now, but y'all really mad y'all not the face of black. Nigeria is the most populous black anything on the planet. And y'all still not the face of black. Black Americans are, and everybody knows it. It's not black Canadians. It's not black Brits. It's not. Afro Latinos. It's not Nigerians. It's not the whole goddamn excuse me. It's not the whole goddamn black people in sub-Saharan Africa. It's not. It's not South Africans. It's not Ethiopians. It's not Eritreans. It's not. It's not Sudanese. It's not Somalis. It's not. It's not Kenyans. It's not Liberians. It's not. It's not Jamaicans. And Jamaicans are punching out of everybody. If it's not ADOS, Jamaicans are punching way beyond their weight class. Way beyond. You talking about an island with what, 3 or so million people? And you got Japanese women in clubs whining and grinding like they Jamaican women? Nigerians, I'm gonna say it. Jamaicans are more the face of black people than y'all are. God damn. But it's not. It's black Americans and everyone knows it. And different groups of people are jealous about it. That's all. Y'all would have a better argument if y'all would argue from that angle. Well, we got all these PhDs, nobody cares. Oh, goddamn, Z. And y'all know nobody cares, and that's what makes y'all even angrier. Well, this African kid got accepted to all the Ivy Leagues, and we will big him up, and we will congratulate him, and we will congratulate her, right? And we'll put it in newspapers, and it'll be all over social media for a day or two, and that's great. Is that kid gonna challenge white supremacy? No. Okay then. Huh? Now what? Huh? Black Americans are the face of black people, and you have so many black people across the diaspora that's just jealous. It's nothing else than that. Listen, to all ADOS FBA folks, y'all don't gotta stress too much. It's just jealousy. I don't suggest you throw it in their face. That I don't suggest, but don't stress out about it. I know a lot of ADOS FBA like, yo, we just want y'all to just be our brothers, and right? Y'all dealing with white supremacy in y'all own right too. It's true. It's true. But all these other black people in the diaspora, they're just jealous that black Americans are the face of black people. And let me say this 100%. I'm going to say it with rocket boosters on. If y'all not talking about white supremacy, then nobody cares what you're talking about. God damn, Z. Dear Nigerians, dear the rest of continental Africa, goddamn, Z, why you keep on pointing out Nigerians? Because y'all the most populous and y'all got the most to say. I said it. If you come over to America, if you go to Britain, if you go to Canada, and you start talking to the natives, native black folks, that is, oh, y'all just use white supremacy as an excuse, and y'all and your daughter's over here pogo sticking or getting pogo sticked in by white dudes, and your daughters have these white dudes pogo sticking up and down their esophagus, then you won't be the face of black people, not ever. Your population could be whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You could have all the PhDs. It don't matter. If y'all not talking about anti-blackness, if you're not talking about white supremacy, your PhD don't mean nothing. God damn, Z. You said that. I said it. That's for, by the way, on that one, I'm not just talking about Nigerians. I'm talking about all black people across the diaspora. What does your education mean if you ain't challenging white supremacy? Go ahead. What does your education mean if you sacrificing your daughters to white men? God damn, Z. I said Asians. Huh? What does it mean? Huh? What does it mean? So Whoever that is on Twitter, I'll read through the rest of the thread. But yeah, whatever. I get it. Calling ourselves Africans instead of just calling ourselves black, calling ourselves Africans instead of calling ourselves any type of ADOS, or for me, any type of descendant of slaves or anything like that. I get it. I get it. And if this is Africans' weirdo way of being the face of black, no. First of all, y'all can't even get over your own tribalism. Goddamn, Z. And y'all give Z a second. Huh? And so I just want to stress that, dear, and to all of the black people across the diaspora that just heard Z say that, and you're like, no, we're not jealous. Yes, you are, and stop it. Yes, you are. And let's say it's not you. Yes, the people that you're from are, and you know it. Y'all can't lie to Z. I've been in our rooms, man. We all know it. Shout out to Els Active. We know it. For all of us that are across the diaspora, we're living in the West. We know that's what it is. We know that's what, especially concerning Black Americans, ADOS, FBA. We know it. People are mad that they're not the face of Black. They're not the face. Okay, fine. They're not the face of Africans. You're not. And we know how y'all cosplaying Black Americans when y'all go to Japan. Oops. And South Korea. Yikes. And China. Oop. And all across Eastern Europe. If you don't believe me, go ask O'Shea. It's a whole lot of Africans cosplaying Black Americans when they go to Eastern Europe for school. Somebody tell me I'm lying. Huh? I saw that clip of that black dude. It was forever. This has got over a decade ago. I was watching something from was it RT? Black dude in Russia, in Moscow, cosplaying Black Americans. Out here with the white girls. Now I will say the dude was out here with the white Russians, clearly Russians, but he was cosplaying with his heavy ass accent and his trash ass rap. Somebody saw the same segment Mr. Z saw. Cosplaying Black Americans. Stop it. Why? Because Black Americans are Black Americans set the tempo for for the Black diaspora, and we all know it. And we all know it. So y'all can miss me with the BS. Jamaicans know it. Shout out to the Jamaicans. Like I said, they punching way above their weight class. Nigerians know it. All other black people in the diaspora know it. Haitians know it. Detro says, I was in Japan way back in 2000 and Nigerians were cosplaying us in the clubs back then. I know, right? And that's where the real anger comes in. That's where the real anger comes in. And, we do have a bunch of black people in diaspora that have helped to advance humanity scientifically, right? We got a bunch of, obviously, PhDs. We got a bunch of not only Nigerians, but other black folks from the diaspora who are literally in the medical field and they're advancing the medical field. Y'all remember the sister that glued her damn hair? That was African brother that helped to get that super glue out of her hair, right? So we got brothers that's doing that. Shout out to him. We got brothers that, and I think he did that for free. If I'm not mistaken, I think he did that for free. Shout out, wasn't that sister from Baltimore? Something like that. I might be a bit off on the details. So shout out to that brother. We got brothers doing that. We have black people from the diaspora. I'm not saying that ADOS are the only black people that matter. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying your blackness don't mean a lick of nothing if you're not advancing black people culturally, socially, politically, if you don't keep your foot on white folks' neck, on white supremacy's neck, if you're not speaking about anti-blackness, if you're not doing that and you're just trying to get your little pennies and quarters in the West and then bring it back to your homeland so you could build your mom a big ass house. Yeah, by the way, dear ADOS, it's not only y'all that talk about getting your money so you could go buy your mama house. The Nigerians and Haitians and Jamaicans and Bahamians and all the rest of us are doing the same thing. Somebody tell me I'm lying. The Somalis and the Sudanese and the Eritreans are saying and doing the same thing. Name it. Tell me I'm lying. Huh? If that's the only thing you're going to do in the West, then shut the hell up. Yeah, the Gorilla Glue. Yeah, yeah. Neighbor says, you mean the Gorilla Glue chick? Yeah, her. Right. Huh? GC said, folks never want to get dead at house. You feel me? Right? Compassionate said, Z, they're gonna put a fatwa on your ass, bro. They could say whatever they want. Every black person in the diaspora know Mr. Z telling the truth. What clip I was watching? Black Aussie women, black Australian women dancing to Beyonce, watching Beyonce. Come on, man. We all know what this is. I remember watching something. It was a bunch of South Koreans talking mad crap about Nicki Minaj and calling Nicki Minaj all type of 304s. Meanwhile, CO from what group was that she was in? Got 21. CL over here looking happy as hell to be sitting next to Nicki Minaj for some fashion show. Everybody talking crap about black Americans, and everybody is imitating black Americans. I was watching way back when Mr. Z's K-pop days. I was watching something. I swore they ripped off Aaliyah whole goddamn dance set. I was like, goddamn, Aaliyah been dead for like 20 years. Why y'all ripping off her dance set? Well, over 20 years at that point. Huh? So everybody's on white dudes' balls, rich white men's balls. All these women of color chasing after rich white dudes, but then the men are imitating black men, and low key the women are imitating black women too. Thank you. Right? And Afro National says dissing FBA and using AAVA. I mean AAVE. Be the funniest African American vernacular English, right? Didn't some sister called out one of these Africans for doing that a few months ago, or wasn't that a year ago at this point? Right? Electrician 480 says, speaking of class, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Speaking of class, I can't decide to get a BMW X6 or the Cadillac Escalade IQ. Life is full of hard decisions. God damn, you're going all the way up. Meanwhile, Mr. Z is over here looking at the new Nissan, because y'all know Mr. Z got a problem with Nissan Armada Pro 4X, and that joint is going to be like a $75,000 vehicle. So you know Mr. Z going to catch that on the used car market in about 7 years, 6, 7 years. I'm already planning on this truck because it has the rear locking differential, so it's all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and it has a locking rear differential, and it looks tough. Low key, it looks like they ripped off a little bit of the Tahoe. I'm not even gonna front, but I want it anyway, and I'm definitely not gonna. I can't afford that thing new. And electrician 480 over here talking about buying new BMW X6s. Goddamn, that's a hard decision to tell you the truth, electrician 480. It depends on what you're in because those are two way different SUVs, right? The X6 has like the slopey back, right? Is that the slopey back one? Is that the one you're talking about? And it looks dope, right? And the Escalade is just a big block. It's a big block. Now, I would tell you to sell your soul and get the Escalade V, but that might be outside of your price range because that thing is $1 zillion. No, it's really like what, 120, 150, something like that, maybe 200, something like that. The X6 though, see, I would tell you to sell your soul again and get the X6M, but that might be outside of your price range too because that's going for a grip. Yeah. See, electrician 480 said, "See, I'm not doing the baby vehicles. I'm going all the way up." Right? Oh, you said the Escalade IQ is smaller. Wait a minute. Let me check. Mr. Z might be getting his vehicles, man. Regular Escalade. So you're right. Let me see. So give Z 1 second. The Escalade XQ is smaller than the. Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking about. That's why I was mistaking it for the Escalade. Okay. And you sure you're talking about the X6 and not the X7? The X7 is the big ass. That's the big boy for the Beamer trucks, right? That's the big boy for the Beamer trucks. That's a hard one. Okay. Because I'm thinking about longevity because I don't know if you're leasing or buying. If you're buying, the Escalade would probably be more reliable than the X6. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Sorry, Beamer guys. We already know about that reliability, bro. We already know. Prestige-wise, if it's a lease, that's still difficult because both of them got presence. Prestige, I would go for the X6 if it's a lease. If it's a 3 or 4 year lease, I would go with the Beamer. But if you're paying it off and you're keeping it, I would probably go with the Escalade. Yeah, you're right. It is, but it's probably more reliable than the Beamer. And Detro says GM's reliability is suspect as well. Right? So yeah. Oh, it's the X6M. Yeah, go for the X6. Go for the X6. Yeah, go for the X6. Yeah, I'm even gonna front. If it's the X6M, yeah, go. If it's a lease, yeah, go for the X6. If it's a lease, yeah, that ain't even a debate. The only way I would tell you to get the Escalade over the X6M is if you were trying to get the Escalade V, because the Escalade V that's a monster. That is a monster. Y'all ever seen that take off? Because it's a Tahoe with 650 horsepower with a lot of luxury. And the way it squats, what does it weigh? Like 6,000 plus pounds, 6,500 pounds, right? And the way it squats when it takes off is great. It puts the Jeep in the Durango to shame. The Durango Hellcat and the Jeep Trackhawk. Like, by the way, the Escalade is slower than them, but it just looks so much better taking off than the Durango and the Trackhawk. Because it's a brick. It's a brick with 650 horsepower. The squat is crazy. Pretty much the squat that the Trackhawk has modified and the squat that the Durango has modified with like 800 wheel horsepower, 850 wheel horsepower, 1,000 wheel horsepower is the squat that the Escalade has stock. Right? Good point. Indetro says service fees on the X6M will hurt more than that Escalade, but if the money isn't an issue, I agree. Right? Yeah. So yeah, that X6M though for status and looks and acceleration, I would go for the X6M if the Escalade V wasn't part of the conversation. If it's the Escalade V versus the X6M, if it's a lease, that's too hard. I can't decide on that one. That's too because they both bring something to the game. Just be prepared for tickets because you're gonna be on the gas. I'm telling you right now. Right? You're gonna be on the gas. Right? Electrician 480. Once again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. You deviated the conversation, but you deviated the conversation to something I like talking about anyway. Cars and performance. Right? But that Escalade V, that X6M is no joke too, by the way. Don't just because y'all see me, gush all over the jizz my pants, jizz my pants for the Escalade. Don't sleep on that X6M, right? Don't sleep on that, right? Because what's that? Twin turbo V6 or oh no, 12 twin turbo inline six or is it a twin turbo V8? I think it's inline six. I think it's an inline six. They made good power too. I think they made what 5 something 6, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, those are no joke too, and they're lighter than the Escalade. So yeah, and once again, thank you for the super chat, Electrician 480. Thank you for the super chat, and Chef Butter Biscuit says, and thank you for the super chat. Watching in the past right now, compassionate is right. COVID disrupted the programming of us Z's and younger. That ish was 80% downloaded when Kevin why I said Kevin for COVID. Sorry. Let's read that sentence again. That ish was 80% downloaded when COVID, Kevin, oh, that's why I said Kevin, and y'all happened. And it's been decreasing ever since. Each new movement speeds up our liberation. And that's a Gen Z talking. Mr. Z's goal is never and has never been to get young black men to hate black women. I would prefer y'all end up with black women, right? Shout out to attorney Dennis Sperling. My preference is black women, right? I would prefer y'all end up with black women. Here's the caveat. Not mean, condescending, rude, entitled, spoiled, brat, snarky black women who are petulant children hiding behind their academic accomplishments and hiding behind their careers. My preference is black women, and I would prefer black men end up with black women. That's my preference for y'all. I'm in full agreement with attorney Dennis Sperling on that. Midnight chocolate black women like Jodie Turner-Smith, the one that was chasing after Joshua Jackson. Lupita, the one that went after Jodie Turner-Smith with Joshua Jackson, all the way to the Mariah Careys. I would rather us end up with that. That's my preference. Right? Midnight chocolate all the way to, is she black? Huh? The ones that gotta tell you, like the Creole sister said that Art shared with us. I'm black, B. Or that's not how she said it. What she said? B, we black? No, she said I'm black. We black, B. Yeah. That's what she said. We black, bitch. That's what she said. That wide ass spectrum. But not when America and black families, black mothers, are producing some of the most insufferable black women the world has ever known. Absolutely not. Thank you, Trill. Light, bright, and damn near white. Right? And all Kevin did was put a microphone in front of your daughters. Stop pretending like y'all really so hung up on him telling a heavyset sister that is the same weight as an NFL player that she's the same weight as an NFL player. That's not the issue. Y'all are embarrassed that your daughter showed their ass in front of the world. And that's what the real issue is. And y'all can't address it. Y'all can't address, oh crap. These women got their heads so far up their ass, they don't even know when to pretend. They're so arrogant. Their hubris knows no bounds so much, they don't even know when to pretend. Huh? So I said, hut, hut. Right? Wow. Huh? So I want to stress this. In Mr. Z's ideal world, it would be black men and black women together. And that doesn't mean, let's be honest, black men are not raised to be barking on no chick. Iron Man, sit down. That is not how we were raised. Stop. Which y'all pitting black men like they're some overbearing white patriarchs. That is not how your average black man is raised. Slam open the door, where's my food, woman? That is not what we're on. Stop. It'd be the craziest thing in the world when black women pretend like black men are white men while they chase after white men. Huh? Dear America, dear black community in specific, y'all raise these insufferable spoiled brats. The kicker is, yeah, the men don't really want to be with these spoiled brats, but it's really, really, really the women. The women are the ones saying they don't want to settle for the men that are oftentimes financially better than them. Uh-oh. Huh? And if it's the 80-20 rule, then let it be. Shout out to that brother from Lapeef's channel. Let polygamy be legal. Fine. Let polygamy be legal, but let prostitution be legal also. Let's do it. Prostitution will be legal. Polygamy will be legal. That way we can have the women. Prostitution will be legal. Polygamy be legal. All the women that want to chase after the top 20% of men could do that. Y'all could be wife number 7, 22, right? 58. You could be wife number 58 for Jeff Bezos. And all the rest of us, like he said, we'll save our little ducats. And at the end of the month, once a month, if you could save better, twice a month, you'll go see the head doctor. Pun intended. Huh? Now what? So yeah, no, I agree with Sheep Butter Biscuits on this. All Kevin did was show the world that these are your daughters. And those people were so embarrassed. All they did was focus on Kevin. Whenever you see, I'm telling y'all, if y'all ever at a family get together or anything like that, and people bring up Kevin and the women start talking, be like, wait, so Kevin was talking to himself? What happened to all the women that were calling in? And I told y'all, for those of you that never heard Mr. Z say this, I had a conversation with one of my super close friends, one of my best friends. We were on three-way. It was me, him, and his wife was like, oh, those women were just looking for love. Oh, I ripped her a new one. Pause. Right? So those women calling in and saying, who wants to be with average anyway? That we're just looking for love, huh? Yeah, that's it. Now, I didn't say it to her like that. Of course, this is my very close friend. I was respectful of him and his wife. But she got the message. Low key, that's why he put me on the phone. If you listening, you know who you are. Huh? Phantom, you better stop. And Phantom says, "Damn, I never thought Native American women are on the white peen chase. All this ish they talk about Christopher Columbus. You would think they don't worship Zaddy, but I guess I'm wrong, bruh. I still ain't watched the movie yet. That Flower Moon movie, I think it's called, or whatever it is, or the documentary about all these Native American women that these white dudes was offing. Oh, you better believe indigenous women are out here marrying them they white dudes. Oh, you better believe it. All the women of color on white peen chase to varying degrees because this is the part the left refuses to grapple with. They want patriarchy, and in their mind, the white man is the patriarch. They could frame it, and especially progressive women turn themselves into the biggest hypocrites in the world when it comes to this. They want the lifestyle. They want men that are providers, even if he's a quote unquote liberal provider. They want that. So the indigenous women and the black women and the Asian women and the Latina women, they want the white dude because of what his white skin represents on planet Earth, status. They want white patriarchy. Even Dr. Chantal Buggs and Dr. Jennifer Lundquist said that, and these are two women. Huh? So there you go. Oh yeah, the indigenous women are on that. Oh, you better believe it. Naaman says that documentary is set in British Columbia, Canada, Z, if I'm not mistaken, right? Detro says it might have took place in Wyoming. Either way, right? Leon says, "What do you think I do when female family is around? If you know better, you wouldn't do like Z does. Like I don't initiate these conversations, right? So it's not like we have these conversations every time I see a family member, clearly a female family member. It's not that. I don't initiate these conversations. But oh, if they stick their big toe in that water, oh, that's your ass. We could spend I could spend months seeing family members and associates, female friends or associates I haven't seen in a while. I could spend months seeing them back to back, and we could not have these conversations. But the second they stick their big toe in that water, that's their ass, right? Okay, okay. And Detro says he's not talking about the documentary; he's talking about the movie. Okay, okay. Oh, Leon said he's like Z. He says I love the smoke. Z, I love smoke. Okay, okay, right. And Trell says the background is when they discovered oil in Oklahoma on native lands. Yep, yep, right. And once again, Chef Butter Biscuits, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Like I said, this is not to make y'all hate black women, hate women writ large. Mr. Z is not pushing no LGBTQ agenda. This is not my version of radical feminism. We're not doing radical black men's rights or whatever. This is not some um wink wink nudge nudge log cabin thing. Right? So that's not what I'm pushing over here. I'm not pushing hate of women, hate of black women in particular. I am saying that America has raised some of the most insufferable women ever, particularly black women. And what they're not going to get is somehow men, young men, so under the age of 50, under the age of 45, to subsidize your a-hole daughters. That's what I'm saying, right? So, yeah, brother. And their obsession with defecating on Kevin, once again, out, especially when they're not addressing what Kevin showed us, once again, is that they raised insufferable daughters, which is what Mr. Z stresses on his channel, Well, right. So yeah. And Mr. Shook to you says, Z, you have to watch it. Okay. Put it on the list. It's forever. My list is forever. It's forever. Right? And Joe says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Joe says, don't forget people blackfishing by darkening their tone and style. Yeah, I saw the little clip of the Japanese women with the serious toner and the braids and whatnot. I saw that clip over a decade ago when they showed it. Right, I saw that. Right, forever ago. Yeah. GC said right under that TLC video. Look, don't make Buckeye fan mad at me. Right. Damn, GC. And Joe's, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah, the blackfishing, yeah, the blackfishing, yeah. But that's smaller. I will admit that these people, when they try to imitate black people, they're not. It's by their tone. It's when they decide that they want to be hood and all that other stuff, right? So that's how they blackfish. It's a little different. It's a little different, right? Compassionate said they should have called the movie Bottom Shelf Brad, Bottom Shelf Bradding. Yeah. And Afro National says the Flower Moon movie highlights a lot of how the race mixing occurred. Good movie, right? And we already know, man. All the white dude got to do is break. The average white dude, all he have to do is break a little smile, just a little smile, and the women of color are going. He break a little smile, he give them one compliment, and they out here sounding like Uchechi off of the grapevine. The first man to compliment me about my looks was a white man. Yawn. All of a sudden, when the white dude is complimenting them, it's no longer street harassment, right? Black dude gives them a compliment, it's street harassment. White dude gives them a compliment. Oh, it's the way he said it. Stop it. White dude said it the same way, if not worse. And corny. Right? That was the funniest thing about that whole street harassment campaign. We caught them with their pants down. We're like, wait a minute, so why does it only show Latino and black men? And she was like, well, the white men just didn't. The white men do it different. Say what you want, AOC. Goddamn Z. Say whatever you want, Alexander Osorio Cortez. That was the funniest thing about that street harassment campaign. For those of you that don't know about the street harassment campaign, it was this Latina, or like she might have been white-ish something, but she had like this curly dark hair. She had an okay shape on her. And I guess they put the camera in her book bag facing outward, obviously. And she spent a day walking the streets of New York and capturing nothing but black and Latino men trying to talk to her, right? Some of this wasn't even street harassment. It was just random men telling her to smile, or why does she have a frown on her face? It was one weirdo brother that followed her maybe a block trying to get her number, but when he realized he wasn't gonna get her number, he left her alone. He didn't even curse her out and do the whole aggressive thing. Hey, B, he didn't do any of that. He just tried to get her number for a block. She said no, kept on saying no, and he left her alone. But this was the street harassment campaign. And so this was, I guess, putting men on notice about how they're harassing women who are just minding their own business. And so, yeah. And when they did a couple of interviews with her and with that one lady, and they're like, yo, like, you know, men of color are taking issue with this because they're like, there's no white men here. So white men didn't try to talk. And she was like, well, they do it different. And we took it out because yep. Yep. So once again, this is women of color or white adjacent women covering for white men. Mr. Z says what he says for a reason. Huh? And Naima says she was small hat Z. It was from Hollaback Group. Yes. Thank you, Naima. She was small hat. She was, you know, one of those small hats. And I've met a couple of these. One of these small hats that seem a little ethnic. Z, how you sound right now? Right? She looked a little Latina-ish, right? And so dudes are trying to haul at her, and they admitted that they clipped out the clips for the white dudes. They admitted what the white guys, they don't really have to do it like this, and they do it a little different. And the ones where the white guys did, but we took it out because of the, exactly, exactly, huh? You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Thank you once again, Damon. You gotta love it, huh? And once again, Joes, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Now what? GC says, wild to admit to doing it. Yeah, but she did it in such a, blink and you'll miss it type of way. They didn't really emphasize it too much outside of that. In their whole, they tried to do it, but like all men do, but the white men, because they're, and you know what I love? They're admitting because of white men's privilege, they get to do the same thing a little different, and so we take it a lot different. They're admitting that because that's what Herbie was trying to say on Olay's channel about white men being anti-LGBTQ and all this transphobia and all this other stuff. And Irby was saying, because the way because essentially this is the craziest thing you're gonna hear. Because white men are so goddamn patriarchal, and because they created the fashion the world behind them, that gave them so much space that they can then come back around and be nice. Right? So white men get to pretend now. They're so patriarchal, they get to pretend like they're not. Which, by the way, no matter how Kidology tries to frame it, that's what her whole goddamn think piece was about when I covered it a week ago or so. You gotta love, the craziest thing in the world is watching quote unquote minorities cover for white men. It's the craziest thing in the world. Huh? White men are so patriarchal, and white hegemony is so what's the word I'm looking for? Ubiquitous. There we go. That average white men now get to be a bit different, be a bit softer, experiment with their masculinity and their manhood because they got the world so, excuse me, they have the world so sewn up that now they don't have to act masculine because the world works in their favor. So now your individual white man gets to dress like Harry Styles. White men's patriarchy has so sewn up the world that your average white man could be out here wearing a skirt and still pull women because he's white. Huh? Your average white man could grow his hair long and have barrettes in it, right? Because he's white. And because the world has so bowed down to white hegemonic rule, white male hegemonic rule, that the whole world works for white patriarchs so much that individual white men get to now do things a little different. And because they get to do things a little different, when they approach women, it's not street harassment. When they catcall, they don't catcall the same, so we're not going to call it street harassment. And Name is giving us some details, and he says the video is produced by Rob Bliss for Hollabagzy. He did a similar thing for a woman who did the Tinder date with thousands of men in NYC a few years later. Thank you. And I'm gonna look that up. Actually, that might be a review coming soon, right? You gotta love it. You gotta love it, right? Thank you, Mr. Shook to you. This is what I'm saying. And Mr. Shook to you says, here's the thing. When they are with white men, they want them to engage in patriarchy, not so much for other men. What did y'all hear me say? I said it to FD. I don't know if he remember it. I want to say I remember saying that to him. Maybe I didn't. I want to say I did. When I said, essentially what these women of color are saying, white men get to be patriarchs, not you. Right? A slight caveat for men of color with a lot of status and money. Slight caveat for them. Right? But white men get to be patriarchs, not you men of color. And white patriarchy is so ubiquitous that white men get to be so patriarchal that they then get to pretend like they're not and make it seem like their patriarchy is really just gentlemanliness. I said this before, like when Eve said her man was wild enough to tame her, which is a wild ass statement coming from a black woman concerning a white man. I thought to myself, you know what, Eve, you're right, but you're framing it wrong. You know you can't pull what you usually pull with the white man, number one. Number two, it speaks to the way women of color see white men, particularly white men with money and status. Right? And it speaks to how white men see women of color. Oh, Asian men, oh, you struggling over there with Asian women? I got that yitch over here folding my sheets. Oh, black men, oh, she giving you all that lip. She don't give me lip, she give me tongue. Oops. Huh? Oh, Latino men, she's talking about your machismo and how she can't deal with it. I'm a patriarch in the house with her. Huh? Oh, indigenous men, she over here talking about how you're drunk and how you're assaulting, we'll say. Oh, I come home, I yell, I bark, occasionally knock her upside the head, and she stays. Oh, I just want to be clear. That's what white men are doing and saying through action. Huh? Say it again. And Joe says, non-white men are men not. Can't say it any better than that. Huh? Now, does this apply to all women of color? No. Most women of color, uh-oh. Huh? So I just want to make sure we stress that. And your dear America, dear women of color, men, particularly men of color, they're going to make you feel that. They're going to make you feel that through action. Mr. Z is talking. Mr. Z is doing a whole lot of talking. Mr. Z is talking. Most of these young men of color, they're not talking. They're going to go overseas to women and they're going to find them the women that don't subscribe to this. They're going to find them the handful of American women that don't subscribe to this, women of color in particular. They're going to date white women who already know about white men because they're obviously their fathers are white, their brothers are white, their uncles are white. They don't want no parts of it. And that's who they're going to end up with. And all the masses of white women and Latina women and black women and Asian women and indigenous women, right? All these Asians, Latinas, black women, once again, who buy into this, well, have fun. If that white dude don't end up with you, well, huh? Oh, well, huh? All these people love talking about hypergamy right up until we bring in race, and then nobody want to talk about it anymore because they already know what we're implying when we say it. How do you talk about hypergamy and not talk about the racial element of it all? Because it makes everyone cringe. It make even the white men who love it, it makes them cringe. The men of color don't want to admit to it because it makes them cringe. The women of color don't want to admit to it because they're exposing their hands and it makes them cringe. All the parents of these women don't want to admit to it because it makes them cringe. If you believe in hypergamy, you believe in racial hypergamy. If you believe hypergamy is a thing, you believe racial hypergamy is a thing. You just don't want to admit it because it's gonna make you cringe, and it's gonna speak to what your daughter's willing to give up. And do, yikes, to climb up that ladder and climb up something else. Huh? And L says, isn't the theory called subordinate male target hypothesis? Yep. I don't know how much is a hypothesis though. And Mr. Shook to you says, more proof that it's not just about the money. Is Asians in general are doing fine financially and educationally, but lay on the sexual marketplace value chart. Exactly. This is he couldn't get that out, right? Man. L's active says, or social dominance theory. It's not a theory. Social dominance order. We just call it social dominance order now because it's not even a theory anymore. We got proof, facts, right? And Buckeye fan says, just getting in. Once again, the culture owes Jermaine Cole, J. Cole, a huge apology. Why do you say that? Right. I'm about to end out in a minute, y'all. I'm waiting for Buckeye fan to respond, and then we gotta end out, right? And Detroit says, you have hurricane in Miami, Z? Yeah, it was windy as hell. It rained a little bit, but the wind was ridiculous, redonkulous. It was stupid. We have another one on its way, apparently, because, once again, South Florida. Yeah. No, give me a second. Oh, and Saint Cyr says he dropped music on his IG, Z. Okay. Oh, he dropped music on his IG. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Okay, and Leon says J. Cole's new song. I'll check it out. Right? Man. Detroit says another one is coming. Yep. Yep. And I really want to read this. And Nema says, how about Felicity Huffman's portrayal of Linda Fairstein or Fairstein, is when, oh yeah, that was the one, isn't that the one that wrote the book, the children's book and everything like that? Is when they see us referring to Central Park 5 as animals. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Terrell said freaking DJ Khaled and another one. Right. And another one. Right. And thank you for that, Buckeye fan. I didn't know that, so I'll check that out. I'll check that out. And Nema says, yeah, correct. Yeah, that's the one. F you, lady. And she knew they were innocent too, by the way. I'm not saying she knew now. No, she knew back then they were innocent and she still pushed charges. F that lady forever. I could tell you where I want you to rest. Right? Man. So on that note, everyone, and once again, Buckeye fan, thank you for the super chat. We'll pause right here. Mr. Z streams way longer than I thought I was going to stream. And so we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Yes, Mr. Z is okay. Yeah, Mr. Z is alive. We're okay. Nothing happened to Z. Nothing happened to Z. Nothing happened to Z, and nothing happened to the Z or Miss Z or any of the family, and everybody's good. So yeah. Better you said, hold up, you done already? Where were you, sir? Where were you? And I hope you're doing okay. Better you. I know right now things are a little tough. I hope everything is going well. I hope you think you got interviews and stuff lined up, or if you find a new gig, hopefully. So shout out to Toya. Same thing with Toya. I know right now it's crazy. I was there, Mr. Z. No, I know, I know about that life. The struggle is real, right? Sure, I know you ain't saying already, right? By the way, so I was actually meaning to thank Trell too because Trell guilted me um a few weeks ago, and I actually really was thinking about this, how much time I actually spend streaming. And short a little detail. So Miss Z grew up an only child. So Trell, the reason why I'm able to get away with streaming so much is because Miss Z is an only child, and so that's one of the main reasons I get away with streaming so much, and her not being like, yo, like time, right? It's really because she grew up an only child, so she's used to being by herself, right? And so yeah, so that's why I'm able to kind of get away with it a bit. But yeah, so when Trell was speaking about how much time I spend streaming and not being with Ms. Z, which he was right about, but once again I got a little out, and the little out is that she grew up as an only child, so that she's used to not having you know someone around all the time, right? So yeah, so I lucked out on that. I lucked out on that one. Um, yeah. Yeah. And Better You says, thanks, bro. I'm waiting on offers to come through. Hopefully, right? Glad you and the family are safe. Look, I need y'all to make money so I can rob y'all. Better You. I'm being a bit selfish here. I need you to get back to where you were financially, and I need you to give me your address and your work schedule because I'm not trying to get shot. And same thing with Trell. All you brothers that make good money, I need your work schedule, Electrician 480, YouTube. I need all of y'all work schedules, right? I'm being selfish here. I need your work schedule and your address. So Mr. Z about to be masked up, peeking through your windows, breaking in. Right? This is not just for you, Better You. This is for me too. Right? All of you, KMS, all of you, Black Uru, all the brothers that art new style. I need everybody's address and schedules, work schedules. Mr. Z's career is about to be masked up. Coming to a city near you. Z, you haven't been streaming. What you doing lately? Better You could be like, hey, y'all can't believe I got robbed. Oh man. No, I kid. I don't got the balls, y'all. I ain't even built for it. The second I hear a shotgun, that's it. My heart gonna stop. I ain't built for it. I'm not built for it. Shout out to all the Jack boys. I don't know how y'all do it. Right? Detro says, shout out, channel your inner Gunplay. Gunplay the rapper? Exactly. Gunplay got beat up by 50 Cent people and popped up like it was nothing and went and chased after one of them and actually got his licks in. Boy, Gunplay. But y'all already know Gunplay at one point was he was Rick Ross handler, like handle the y'all know what Mr. Z saying. Yeah. Right. Detroit said, Z, are you ready for snow? Detroit said, you can't rob me. Are you ready for snow? Right. Nah, right. You see me? And Mr. Shifty, you said, Alexa, play Hitting Houses by Kodak. For real. Charles said, you're going to walk in on me in the house. Charles said, my schedule hybrid. I work from home more than the office. I'm going to think Trell in the office. I'm going to walk in. God damn it. Oh, man. Oh. The funniest thing in the world. Oh, and I'm going to end out on this. For those of you that remember the story, there's actually video of this. The lady that got home and the robber hid in her restroom and he refused to come out and he was scared. And she called the cops and she was like, yo, he's scared. He's in the restroom and he's hiding. That's Z if one of y'all pop up at the house at the wrong time. Wait a minute, bro. I thought you were supposed to be a jack boy. How you a scared ass jack boy? Number one, and how you a jack boy with no weapon? Shout out to anybody dumb enough to be robbing houses with no weapon. No, this is dumb. Right. Right. So on that note, everyone, we will pause right here for real. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Talking about being jacked. Hopefully, Mr. Z doesn't get jacked. I don't know how much y'all gonna find, but yeah. And on that note, we'll pause right there. Y'all have a great, great rest of y'all day. I meant what I said. Right. Shout out to this society, and I hope y'all prepared for y'all daughters to be single for indefinitely. Actually, all right, y'all. Mr. Z out. Oh yeah, go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Go touch some grass. All right.